Go on the cars, go. Go on the cars.
Okay, so I think we are live. Guna fam, what's good? It's been a while. I haven't said that in a while. Yo, welcome back. It's been too long. We're finally back. It's a bit of a change. We live. This is my first live stream, so please excuse us. Disclaimer: I already told the guests on. So we have quite a show wrapped up for you. We got quite a few guests on, so I'm just gonna get kicked off straight away. First I have to apologize to everyone, South Africans, all the fans, everyone who watched Gunacast. We kind of went missing for a bit, but yeah, we gotten closer to Arsenal, South Africa, and things are working in that sense. And now season's looking good, Arsenal's looking good, and now we have a bit of changes coming in. But yeah, we're back. Yeah, I don't want to go on too much about it. Things are growing, things are happening. So yeah, I just want to introduce the guys we have on today. So we have Dane. Dane is currently going to be assisting on Gunacast quite more. He's the Arsenal South Africa Johannesburg East kind of leader on their branch. So he's been running things on that side here and kind of going to be the host for today. We have Sisanda, who's a avid Arsenal fan from South Africa, and he's going to give us his views, and share his thoughts, since this is kind of what we're driving for Arsenal fans. And then just because Gunacast and we're going back old school, take it to the Brazen, I don't want to say the leader of the Goon squad here, but one of the members. It's been a while, the Tladi, but as we know as Rams. So yeah, he's joining us just to chat, kick off. Welcome, guys. I don't know, just before we kick into it, maybe it's been a while, so maybe just give us like 1 or 2 minutes of like yourself, talk about yourself, why you love Arsenal and what you're looking forward to this season, and then we can definitely kick off. We'll start with you, Dave.
Sure. I've been an Arsenal fan since 1998. Dennis Bergkamp at the World Cup doing crazy things got me hooked. Well, I just basically said, who does this guy play for? And then everyone said Arsenal. So I said, okay, let me start supporting Arsenal. And so then been through the highs in the beginning of my watching days and then through the lows recently, but things are getting better. And I'm based in the East Rand of Johannesburg, and used to go to Brazen quite a bit last 2 seasons, and then with everything kind of closing there, decided to start something in the East in connection with Arsenal SA. So we'll talk about that more later, but that's basically me.
Awesome, thanks, Dave. Maybe Sisanda, you can give us a quick one.
Lekker. How's it, guys? Sisanda here. Arsenal.
You're muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
Good now? Yeah.
Good, man. Yeah, Sisanda here. Arsenal fan. Yeah, since way back then, I think. Entry to Arsenal was through Thierry Henry or my days. Around about 2002, 3. I've been a Guna since. I'm based in Four Ways, Joburg, but recently I was obviously in London. Had the privilege of watching a lot of Arsenal games at the Emirates. Fell in love with Arsenal since then. I mean, I've seen the highs and obviously the lows quite recently. Been a fan ever since, and I'm crazy about it. Every window, every game, I've never. Okay. That's just me. Big Gunnar fan. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Rams. Much like everybody else on the call, I think we all kind of very big fans of the club. Much like everybody else, I've also been at Guna for quite a while. And my journey with them probably started sometime in the early 2000s. I was impressed with what Henry and them were doing, and it kind of brought me into this, into supporting Arsenal. My journey with everybody else started at the Brazen here. I think we even got a shout out from the man Jesus himself in the past couple of weeks on an ad talking about how he appreciates the support from the Brazen. And yeah, I'm quite disappointed that the club has had to shut down. I hope it's temporary because I believe that was kind of the key hub for most Arsenal fans, and we had a lot of great moments there. So hopefully in the not so far future, the club will be opened up again, and then we can all kind of hang out there and start figuring out how best to kind of get to know each other a little better. Yeah, and that's me.
Yeah, sad then. Now you're taking me back to the Brazen. But maybe I'll touch on mine. I don't know, like Arsenal for me, there's been a few, but I think one vivid is if you watch old school South African football when S5Ep1 was playing Nigeria and you watch Kanu just do his thing on the pitch and realize he's playing for Arsenal. It's kind of one of the big reasons. Then Bergkamp, Henry, and I think the list goes on. We all share the same sentiments and it's great. Unfortunately, with the Brazen, it's so sad. That place was home. It started everything, kind of the YouTube channel birthed from that place. And I'm so grateful for it. But now that I'm actually part of the club, just before we move on, I should maybe touch on this. Hopefully, they are coming back. And we hopefully, because the whole center went under renovation. So we're just waiting for news on that. But we have split as a club into multiple branches across South Africa, which Dane will touch on a bit later. And trying to just extend our reach as the club to everyone across South Africa and Johannesburg for now. But yeah, so we all get the taste of Arsenal South Africa and a place to watch. But yeah, but the channel, to be fair, I'm not really affiliated to Arsenal South Africa. I do work for the club and I do some work for them, but it's still the same. It's still a place for us as fans to come and contribute our views, everything, and if you don't have the privilege of being at a branch and experiencing with the people, we want to use this platform now to have other people on, and people that don't have the opportunity to engage with other Arsenal fans. It's lonely out there, so we here to fill that gap. And yeah, Dane is stepping up to go and kind of run the kind of weekly or bi-weekly. We're still deciding, but like a season kind of live stream podcast. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining and, just showing the support and still having faith in what I tried. It was just an idea and it's still going till today. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, enough soppy stuff. Let's get back to the good stuff, which is Arsenal. So I'm just going to hand over to Dane. So Dane's got a bit of quite a cool little segment he's going to do now. And then this will be more engaging and better stuff, I would say. I just was here to do some admin. So yeah, Dane, whenever you're ready, just let me know. I just want to get to the view, so hopefully everybody can see that.
Cool. Yeah, I think we've done the welcome already. So yeah, welcome to Gunocast with new faces, some old faces, some new faces. We're gonna try this because with Keish being in Durban, I think we can do more of these types of online things, and then it's still engaging fans. We can maybe bring back the post-game reactions for some of the big games. George and I were saying, so George is the guy that I run the East branch with in Bedford View. We're saying maybe for the top 6 games, we could bring back the post-match interviews and then post them afterwards. So yeah, there's a lot of things we're thinking about. We're kind of trying to be in touch with what the fans are saying. We've got a WhatsApp group, we got Facebook groups, so we're trying to connect with fans in different ways. Yeah, it's exciting. So all we can do is kind of listen to what the fans are saying, share things that we're passionate about and we're kind of trying to work on, and get feedback from you guys, and then you can tell us what you'd like to do going forward. So yeah, that's the welcome basically. Let's go on to the beginning of the season, kind of a review of the first 3 games of the season. So the Wolves game is the first one we're going to look at. Obviously, yeah, that's there was the Havertz goal and the Saka goal, and then there was a Havertz assist and Saka assist. So how are you guys feeling about our forwards' performance in the beginning of the season with the first game? Rams, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I've always had uh, kind of a conceited view about Havertz over since he signed for us. But over the past few couple of months, it seems like he's actually grown very well into that role. I like the combinations between him and Odegaard, Saka. I think they're combining quite well. I just feel like he needs a little bit more in terms of his finishing capabilities. He scores difficult chances and then misses sitters, that type of thing. So I'm just hoping that he can kind of clean up on that and not lose the ball so much in the final third. But other than that, I'm quite happy with him. He's been very physical. I've noticed that he's also quite good at tracking back and winning balls. So it's everything that a Arteta manager would want out of a forward. So I'm happy on that element. I just hope that he can then improve small things. Actually, it's quite a big thing, finishing. Because we've seen even in the last game against Brighton, he had a one-on-one with the keeper, and I felt that he should have finished that, and that would have potentially given us those 3 points. So so I think from that element, from the Havertz, I think that's the only outlier. We will know what Bukayo Saka is about. We know he's a stone cold killer. Again, with him, the only thing I would improve is his take-ons. I think he needs to be more confident in his ability to beat his man. And other than that, then we've got Martinelli. Martinelli, he's been a bit off form, and I guess it happens. I think I haven't given up on him just yet. I know he's got loads of talent, and I'm confident that he'll probably come up better. But I'm also happy that we've got a guy like Trossard sitting on the wings or sitting on the benches or potentially starting for us going forward. And we know what he's about. He's clinical. And so I guess from that perspective, I'm quite pleased with what we've got.
Cool. We'll talk more about Trossard when we talk about the Villa game. So I think we'll get to that. But that's a good summary. I think I agree that Saka does need to improve his take-ons. But his output at the start of the season has been amazing so far. So very happy for him for the Ballon d'Or nomination. And we got 3 other nominations, so very exciting there. Sisanda, any thoughts on the Wolves game from your side? What did you think?
Yeah, look, boys, in my opinion, I think, I think we definitely should have done a bit of work in the transfer window just to beef up the front line. But listen, man, I like what I'm seeing. I'm liking Saka. Saka's coming. He's just turned 23 a few days ago, or yesterday it might have been. So he's growing into the role. He's maturing as a winger. On the left, I think good signings. We've brought in Sterling. We've got obviously Martinelli and Trossard on that left as well. But up front, listen. Look, I'm one to say I love Havertz. I love him. I like King Kai, but boys, let's be honest. Does he win us the league? Him up front, is he really that guy that's going to do it for us? Look, I'm not sure. Listen, I hope he proves me wrong. But I really think we should have probably maybe gotten someone. We were linked with so many players, the likes of Giacores and the likes. But listen, we didn't get those over the line. But I mean, look, we have what we have now, and we pretty much can't do anything about it now. But in terms of the front line I'll comment on. Listen, boys, I just want conviction up front. I'm seeing the Arsenal, and I'm seeing the old Arsenal of that perfect goal that we need to score, but I'm really seeing the lack of conviction or sort of someone who takes his chance and really buries it. So yeah, Wolves 2-0, good score line. Aston Villa 2-0 as well, and then 1-1 at the Emirates with Brighton. Good start for me, considering the fact that we, got a red card in the game. We didn't quite get the 9 points, so we always sit here and we look at ourselves and we're like, boys, we're going for the league, right? So we're 2 points behind City. But listen, just to comment on the front line, I really think we could have done a bit more work. Obviously, Jesus out. Look, we don't know how long that's going to be. And we pretty much don't have any other backup. Jesus is out, Nketiah's gone.
Yeah.
So we really, I think we're a bit flat.
We're gonna talk about transfers soon, so we'll come to that. I think let's talk about transfers more when we get to the transfer section. Let's maybe just talk about each game instead of going into the in-depth things that we're going to come to later. So let's look at the stats. I don't know if you guys can see the stats.
Dan, I just have a question in terms of regards to the format. Are we allowed to kind of ask questions to? I guess I have a question for Sisanda. Would it be remiss for me to ask the question before we move on to the next one?
No, go for it.
Yeah, so Sisanda, I just have a question for you with regards to what you said around the front line. So given what you've seen since Havertz started playing up front and subsequent output from the team as a whole, I think if you look at the stats, you'll probably find that the whole output was quite high. I guess from 24 going forward. So do you still think that I think you're probably alluding to the fact that Man City has a Haaland and we pretty much don't. But given the way the team kind of operates right now, as a whole, the goals are a little bit spread. Do you think then that is it still a consideration for you to think that we need like a cold killer like Haaland, whilst the team is still outputting quite high, even when we don't have that kind of one-dimensional striker, if I can call it that?
For me, it's a hard question to answer because, listen, we could say we want a killer up front, but who? If you look at the market right now, it's pretty much there's no one available. We speak about the likes of Isak. We were linked to him, but he's not available. So yes, we do need. I would say we do need, but like at the moment, we obviously leave ourselves pretty much short because there's no one in the market. But Havertz good output, especially calendar year 2024. I think it's about 12 goals and 70. I don't know how many games, but he's
like 17 GA,
17 games, like about 12 goals in 17 games, which is good. But we look at the chances like the Wolves' chance. For me as a number 9, you have to bury that. You know what I mean? So good numbers, but they could be better. Like if we had that cold killer, we'd be speaking about 3 points on the weekend last week. So yes and no. So that's a very hard question to answer, but I still think that we are a little bit short up front. Yes, we share the goals. I like the whole sharing of the goals, but if we're gonna share the goals, guys, like Martinelli has to come to the party. Odegaard has to come to the party as well. He had the Aston Villa game to put us 3-0 up. That cutback pass from, I think it was Trossard who cut it back and he hits it over the bar. You have to bury those chances if we're talking about sharing the goals. So I do think we need a killer in a game that's 0-0, 1-1, maybe someone that's just going to take the chance and shoot and score, So I do think we need, but it's a big ask. It's a big ask, and we've been asking these boys to produce a lot for us. Without a striker for the listen, last season we scored the most goals we've ever scored. I think it was 89 we scored. Those were shared. The season before as well, the goals were shared. But I don't think the likes of Martinelli and Odegaard this season are up there to get those goals for us. So my honest opinion,
still early though,
it's still early. Yes, it's still early. That is the argument.
It is early.
Patterns of play. I just want us to look at the patterns of play. We're not burying those chances. Look, we've signed Sterling now. I hope he's a killer, and I hope he does take his chances. But we, as Arsenal, we obviously create a lot of chances, but we just don't bury them, and we're not clinical enough. And that's what I would have hoped to see. But let's hope Sterling improves that. But I'm so fed up of seeing pretty much the same thing of wanting to score the perfect goal and wanting to walk it into the net. We've been through that, guys. Over the years, we want to. How many touches do you want to take in the 6-yard area? I want someone who's just going to take the shots and just take your chance, you know. So I do think we still do need that killer man, but given the situation of where we are currently right now, there's no one available in the market, and what we have is what we've got. So yeah, it's a very tough question to answer.
No, that's cool. I think we can pick up the rest once we get to the transfer section.
Yeah. Just a quick note on Havertz. I just want to read some of his stats. When he plays starting up front last season, he had 8 games that he played up front. He got 6 goals and 4 assists. Minutes per goal, 111 minutes per goal. Minutes per goal or assist, 66 minutes. So that's not a bad, like, when he plays up front. So I think we're judging the season last season. A lot of the season he was playing at left center mid as well. So I think we need to zoom in on, I think, if he plays the whole season up front, I think he could get 20 goals and about 10 assists. So I think he's not a Haaland killer.
That he has to bury that he doesn't bury. I think that's what the stats don't tell us.
Yeah.
Do you get me? There's a whole lot of chances that he definitely should bury that he doesn't. Like, it's just that lack of conviction for me up front.
I think it's aligned to what I said earlier. I think if you can just tighten up on that little aspect of like just burying these chances, especially the easy ones. Get those.
He's only 24. I think he's someone who's definitely improved since he left Chelsea. So he's already improved in a lot of aspects of his game since he left Chelsea. At Chelsea, he was missing way more chances, underperforming his XG. So now he's underperforming his XG a little bit. I think Arteta's coaching and like just by being in the system more, he'll get there, and by being more comfortable playing center forward. I think we got to give it time, but I think let's go back to the stats for the Wolves game. Let's go through the Wolves game, then we can go to the Aston Villa game, and then we can go to the Brighton game, and then we can kind of look at that going forward. So just looking at the stats, we didn't have that much more possession than them. It's quite nice stats, these. We had a lot more shots. We had double the amount of shots than them. So the scoreline is a fair reflection of what the game was at. I think we can go on to the next game, actually, in terms of the Aston Villa game, because this is quite a big game in terms of the whole narrative about is Arteta or Emery a better manager. I think it was a very interesting narrative that was kind of playing out before the game. So let's look at this. We had a 0-0 at halftime, and then we had the big chance from Watkins where Raya saved and made a great save, and also in the Wolves game he had a great save. So he's really started the season very well. I actually voted for him for Player of the Month for August. I don't know what you guys thought about our Player of the Month. We can maybe talk about that after all 3 games. But I voted for Raya. So he had that big save, and then Trossard came on as a sub and scored with his first touch. So definitely something we need to talk about there. The whole debate between Trossard versus Martinelli versus maybe Sterling, if Sterling comes on, but I think he'll probably play on the right more. But he could play on the left, so it's a very interesting one there. I think Trossard can also play on the right, so a lot of people kind of forget that Trossard is 2-footed and he could also play on the right. I like the idea of Trossard on the right, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And then the other goal was from, who was the other goal from? Yeah, it's a bit small for me.
Marty.
Second goal.
Yes.
The save,
yeah. Listen,
Yes,
boys,
yes.
that Aston Villa game. Listen, let's sit here and be honest, eh? I think we should have lost that game, to be honest. If Watkins buries that first chance, we're done. Right? Big save from Raya, that double save. That was that was after Watkins missed that first one. Yeah. He I don't know if you just cast your minds back, there was that first one where he shanked it wide of the post. If he buries that, we down 1-0. And that double save from Raya, that really should have been a goal. So we count ourselves lucky to be, you know, to get 2 goals in that game, and we could count ourselves lucky to get that second goal from Thomas Partey, where really Emi Martinez should have been better in that. Look, any good Premier League keeper should have saved that. So good win, good away win at Villa Park. Very hard to go there, very difficult. We know what happened last year. I mean, look, obviously in the reverse fixture last year, they came back and they smacked us, I think, 1-0 as well. So I find that we were very lucky to win that game. But listen, we take all 3 points and we move on. But judging the performance as a whole, I would say that was a very, very professional performance from Arsenal. We kept a clean sheet. We got the 3 points and we moved on. Insofar as Trossard versus Martinelli goes, I don't know about you boys, but I like Trossard coming off the bench. It's very controversial for me, but I think he's a good 12th man. I watch a lot of AFTV as well. James B, he says he's the best 12th man in the league, and I think that's exactly what he is. Very quiet in that Wolves game. Sorry, not the Wolves game, the Brighton game. So I don't know if him starting is good for us or not. But I think he's the best 12th man, very, very impactful player, has big goals in very important matches. But I don't know whether the whole debate of him versus Martinelli, for me, I'm still not sure. I'm still not convinced. Either one of them, on their given day, they do a good job. But I don't know if I would still start him over Martinelli. I think I like him as an impact player that comes off the bench. I think I'll just say that about him. But yeah, 2-0 away from home. That's a very good result. You go to Villa Park. It's not easy. So I'll take that and I'll move on. But we were very, very, very lucky. We must consider ourselves lucky to not have lost that game. Very, very big save from Raya. For me, two big saves. There's a big save in the Wolves game, and a big save in the Villa game as well. So for me, I think, look, he's got to show. He made another good save against Brighton as well, actually. For me, player of the month for me for the month of August. But we are sitting in a very worrying position if our player of the month is our goalkeeper. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. We want the other players to be shining more, but if he is, it's also good. It's part of. I mean, no one really thought that we needed to upgrade Ramsdale, and then we did it, and everyone said Arteta was being ruthless, and I think we need to be more ruthless. I think that's the thing we need to do going forward, is be more ruthless, because we need to
look at him now, he's coming into his own. Yeah. Look at him now, he's coming into his own, like he's gaining that confidence. He now understands that he's the number one, and he now has taken that jersey and he's made it his own, and he's coming into his own and he's growing into that role. I mean, look, we know he's good on his feet as well, but it's lovely to see him good on his hands as well. So, I'm very much impressed with him. Yeah,
because ultimately the whole role of a goalkeeper is to kind of save goals, right? And we can talk about all this new fancy stuff where keepers are playing the ball on their feet and kind of playing out from the back. But I'm more excited by Raya's ability to be a shot stopper. You know, and that's the core function of a keeper. And I'd say for the start of the season, he's really impressed me. I think he's as you said, Sisana, he's made this shirt his own. And pretty much, I think the only thing I'd say, in contrary to what you said just now, is that a goalkeeper is as much a part of the squad as a striker. So they just measured on different metrics. So he's measured on how good is he at keeping the ball out of the net. and a striker will be measured on how well does he finish, right? So we have to kind of give the team the props that they did not concede those goals against Aston Villa. Even though I guess one or two of them, I mean, like the one that Watkins scuffed, probably should have gone. But again, he made some amazing saves. I think for most of these games that we played, he's made really great saves. I'm not particularly impressed with the way we've started the season. I mean, we've got our wins, and it's great that we've got our wins. That's all we're playing for. I'm hopeful that it's just preseason or I guess early season jitters, and that we will come into our own and start showing the form that we showed in 24, because that's the form that's going to win us the league. We need to be playing that way consistently if ever we're going to stand a chance at beating these City guys. And the way we've started it was a bit touch and go for me. I was not particularly impressed with all three of the games that we played. But I was quite ecstatic that we actually managed to beat Aston Villa, because they've been kind of a thorn in our backsides for the past couple of games. But yeah, I'm in full alignment with you, Dylan. Raya is definitely the player of the month. There's no question about it. He's saved us in, I think, 2 games, pretty much. And without him, we would not be in the position that we are right now. So he definitely has to take it. And I guess everybody else needs to then step up. We need more from, I guess, the way we control the ball. I feel like we're too sloppy with some of the passes, a little bit too lackadaisical with the way we approach the game. I don't know whether the guys are still a bit tired or still trying to get back into the groove of things. But I think we need to do a lot more if we're going to be serious contenders going forward.
Can I introduce a very, very interesting topic just on that what you've said, Rams? The fact that we've got Raya as our player of the month, does it not speak to the vulnerability of our defense this season? I'm very worried about that centre back pairing. Listen, I love Gabriel. I love Saliba. Obviously, the greatest defensive partnership in the league last season, at least. But there's some vulnerabilities there, because we had the best defense last season, and I think it's the reason why we didn't see Ryan making the saves that he's making this season, right? But now we're seeing Raya pull off some spectacular saves, but it pretty much speaks loudly to our defense, and I'm very worried about that. And I made the point then in our group when I said, like, I think Calafiori on for Gabriel. Gabriel has a mistake in him. He's got a mistake in him, and very soon it will cost us. It hasn't cost us as yet, but we know Gabriel. Like, he had a spectacular season last season, but we pretty much know every now and again he has that mistake in him, and hence Raya has to now come to the party and save us. So I'm very worried about that. For me, in my personal opinion, I don't want to see Raya making these spectacular saves. He should be going back to that old season Raya where he has nothing to do in the game. You know, how many times have we said, oh, no, he had a 7 out of 10 performance. He had nothing to do. He's good distribution with the ball. We're pretty much a possession team.
Yeah,
For me, we
need to be realistic, Sisanda. I mean, even if you look at the stats for these games that we've played, we don't concede too many chances. We really don't. It's just on that odd occasion that I guess we lost the player, we lost Rice in the other game. You could see the pass went straight through the midfield. And of course, there will be games where mistakes happen and guys will play an amazing ball that goes through to the forward, and there will be shots on goal. But
we didn't have the problem last season.
We have to look at it in context.
We didn't concede too many chances last season. I think in our first 3 games, we've conceded way more chances than we've not the whole of last season. But
it goes back to the inability to keep possession of the ball and the sloppiness. Was it more that, or because the more the other team gets a chance to kind
But
of...
that's at our centre
And
back
that's-
pair.
and that's
I'm
on-
very
that's
worried
on-
about Gabriel.
It is. It's on the team, but it's not on the defense. And I'd like to go back to what you said about Gabriel. I think you might be onto something. Again, we talked about ruthlessness, right? And
Yeah.
Arteta has shown in his tenure that he is quite ruthless. Like what he's done to Ramsdale, I don't think any of us could have thought, based on 22-23, that something like that would happen, right? We all thought Ramsdale was crucial to what we're doing, and then we found out that Raya is actually better than Ramsdale. We know this now, right? Again, Calafiori was an amazing signing, great signing.
Yeah.
We've got Gabriel in there, and he's probably the one that might relinquish his position for Calafiori if his performances don't improve. But I still feel like it's too early to make that assessment. Let's give it a couple of games before we start.
Listen, we've had 3 games and we've had 2 big mistakes, right? We've had 3 games, 2 big mistakes. One didn't cost us a goal, the other one did. That Wolves goal, that Brighton goal, where
he should have done better. Should have done better, yeah.
That was Gabriel's. That was Gabriel's fault. I put it straight on Gabriel, because if you look at Saliba, he's going there anticipating that Gabriel has it under control. Look, he's on a yellow. He doesn't want a slide tackle, probably because he's avoiding a red, etc. But that was his man. That cost us. Second mistake was the Villa one. It didn't cost us then. Watkins shanked his chance, but yes, we could have said, look, it could have been a foul. But I tell you now, if Watkins had scored that goal, that foul was not going to be given, because that was not a foul, and that's another mistake. So I'm very, very worried about Gabriel, and I'm not. Look, for me,
it was immense.
I love him. I
don't understand how you could so quickly change your tune. Is it the lure of a new shiny toy? Because I've been really, bro. Like, it's been 3 games. You're already trying to chuck Gabriel out of the team.
Those are 2 huge mistakes, eh? One could have cost us and it didn't.
It's the beginning of the season, guys. All I'm saying is give it a couple of games.
I don't know. What must we wait for? Must we wait for him to actually cost us the game? Then only we realize.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
No, but look, I think Arteta's aware of the mistakes. He was aware of Ramsdale's concentration errors. He's not aware of these things. Let's just, they're doing metrics on all of the players all of the times. He knows that Gabriel made those 2 mistakes. Those are warning signs for him. But the left side hasn't been fixed properly yet. I think that there's something that Calafiori needs to come in certain games. Then Timber needs to come in certain games. Zinchenko needs to come in certain games. So it depends on the games that you're playing that he needs to come in. Then when the left side is sorted, whoever's going to be solidified on the left at left back, then we can start looking at left centre back. Because we've also got Kivior, who's very solid defensively, who can also challenge Gabriel for his position. So we're looking at Calafiori. I'm actually more excited about Calafiori at left back. I know he played a lot at Bologna at left centre back, but he did a John Stones role where he was playing in midfield most of the time. So it depends if we're going to invert at the left back, have a left back inverting, or if we're going to have our left centre back going into midfield, like he was doing at Bologna. So it all depends on the tactics, who we're playing. So there's so many factors, and I think all that matters is we have options now. Before we didn't have options. We now have a lot of options.
I've got a very interesting question for you, right? We are playing the Champions League final next week, Saturday. What's our best starting four at the back?
We're not playing the Champions League final. We're not playing the Champions League final. I know you're asking that, but I'm saying we have time to figure out our best back four, because the season is 3 games in. We don't have to. So you're saying if we're playing it tomorrow in our squad, according to how we've been playing, okay?
Back four. Yeah. What is our best starting back four?
Well, who are we playing against?
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. Okay, so we've got Rodrigo on the left, well, attacking down the right, but on our left, and we've got Vinicius Jr. on the right. So I would play Ben White on the right. I'd play Saliba. I'd play Gabriel, and I'd play Calafiori.
I disagree with that. I'd have Ben White, I'd have Saliba, I'd have Calafiori next to Saliba, and I'll have Yuri Timber on the left. I think that's our best four.
Yeah, for me, it's quite similar to Dane's. The only change is I'll have Timber in there. I think he's elite.
So you keep Gabriel and Saliba?
Yeah, definitely. There's no reason for me to change it right now. Absolutely no reason. I've seen nothing from Calafiori this season to make an assessment for a game that
Calafiori is the player that
I've got a lot more. This guy Gabriel has a lot more clout right now than Calafiori. We need to see more before we can make that.
Gabriel's given us enough evidence to show us that he does a lot of mistakes.
He's made PFA player. He was made in the PFA team of the year.
He
had a spectacular season, guys.
Yeah,
he just had a spectacular season. And I'm not seeing that carry through into the season.
Keith, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry. Well, firstly on Gabriel, well, we got two new joinees in from the old school as well from Brazen, but because Gabriel and Calafiori is getting a bit juicy here, so to be fair, let's take it back 3 games where we lost 3 games in a row when we were lost and we're going into the Tottenham derby, which is pretty much the same position we're in now. Well, not the position. Gabriel always has a mistake in him, I feel, in the first 5 games, and he's shown it consistently, but I don't feel it changes how great he really is, from even Saliba and stuff. But also he was Arteta's first buy. He's still I do believe he has a mistake in him, but maybe last season Saliba kind of saved him at times, which he was fortunate. Maybe in this match here, we got found out, we were unfortunate, but this game here, the way I look at it, there was no tactics. It just felt like a derby game. Because as you guys said, Emre, he could have won, but we were more clinical. But as a fan, tell me at the end of the game where you didn't want to take off your shirt because you were sweating so much because it was just such an intense game. And these are kind of the battles we have to face, and the fine margins. The ball at Brighton through, that's the finest of margin by a dunk of all the people. We want Odegaard to make those passes, but Dunk is making these passes for them, and it's things like that. It's things like that. Fine lines, it's hard to be so hard on game. Sorry, before you go, Lestadi. Tsepang and Koketso, welcome, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear us, but join in whenever you can, man. Sorry, Lestadi, you can go. Sorry.
No, I was saying I'm in full agreement with you. I mean, I think he played a ball. Gabriel played a ball for one of these games. I just can't remember exactly which one. And that led to Trossard playing a ball in. That was. So, I mean, this guy, I think all we need to do is just take a step back and assess Gabriel for what he's done in the last season and give him time. I'm not saying that he's indispensable to this team. I'm not saying that Calafiori can't come in and replace him for some games. All I'm saying is that I think it's a little too soon for us to start saying Gabriel is now off the team. I think if we are going to start operating like a big team, we need to ensure that we make it difficult for people to come into the team. So I think we need to give the boy a chance. Let's see what comes up in the next couple of games. If it's more of the same, then sure, Sisanda, let's get Calafiori in and play Timber on the right, on the left. Comfortable with that. But I think it's just too soon.
Thanks for joining us, gents. Sorry, I'm muted now. Thanks for joining us, gents. We're just going through the first 3 games of the season so that you know. Whenever you want to pipe in, just unmute or put your video on, and then we can hear you and see you. And let's just look at the match stats for the Villa game. I've got them in front of me. We got 60% possession in Villa's turf, which is pretty good. So I was quite impressed with that. They had 3 shots on target. We had 4. They had 11 shots. We had 9. So they had more shots, but less on target. We had many more passes, 514 compared to the 329. And they had 4 corners, so they had a bit more pressure from the corners. But one thing that I wanted to mention about Raya, when we were talking about Raya earlier and his stats from last season, is that I don't know if you guys are aware, he has the highest cross percentage claiming in the league, and then he also has one of the highest in Europe. So that's another way that he is an elite goalkeeper, is that he's claiming crosses before there's any danger happening in the box. So he's commanding his box. So I think we haven't seen a lot of the shot stopping because we didn't have a lot of shots last year on our box and on our goals. But when he was at Brentford, he was a shot stopper. I don't know if you've seen some of his videos from Brentford. He was an elite shot stopper as well. So his save percentage was actually lower when he was at Arsenal last season, because I think he was kind of settling in with the whole Ramsdale situation. And his save percentage, I think, is a bit better this season. So yeah, it's like all these dynamics come into play. You know, the Ramsdale versus Raya kind of play out last year, but now he's settled. He got the recognition. I think he's really going to thrive this year. And yeah, we can pick up the Gabriel Calafiori discussion going forward with the other games. I don't know if any of the new guys have anything to add on Gabriel versus Calafiori at left centre back. Any thoughts from you guys?
Good evening. Am I
Yeah,
clear?
we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna switch on the cam today, another day. I just want to say that don't forget the mad scientist of a coach that we're playing for, or that Arsenal plays for. You do know this guy likes tinkering and tweaking and stuff. It's quite similar to last season when that whole team was like trying to find their rhythm around the new tactics. That's what she kind of saw, that people are just still trying to find their rhythm. And don't forget, your Rice and them also came in a bit late. So I think we're still going to get better. Rice, I think, maybe needs a little bit of rest. Maybe the card might be good for him. I would love him to play next week, but maybe it'll be good for some rest a bit. But Calafiori, on the Calafiori point, you know what? Calafiori is still quite raw. When you watch more of the games besides the YouTube cuts, you realize that he's got a lot of things to still learn, mostly defensively. I think Gabriel is still a better choice in this Insigne. And the Italian league versus the English league, I don't think you can compare them. Just give him time. Gabriel makes these mistakes, but Saliba also makes them. The only thing is that he knows how to recover very well and very fast. But otherwise, I would not say that Gabriel was a sole recipient of most of these mistakes. Yeah, that slip that he did there with Villa missing, yeah, that was his fault. But a lot of them, it's also a miscommunication between both of them. And I don't think that we should just say it's Saliba, because even that goal and the pass through between them, that was both their mistake. The ball literally cut through them. So let's give Gabriel a bit of time. Calafiori will come on merit.
Okay, so
And if he stays there, he'll stay on merit. Yes?
Can I just interrupt you? Did you watch the game yesterday between Italy and France?
Yeah, international games really bore the hell out of me. It's like a bunch of people who don't know each other.
I'm asking for a reason.
I did not watch it. I did not watch it. I actually didn't even know. Like, I was just very much depressed this weekend because there was no Arsenal.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe I should have watched it.
Calafiori had a spectacular game yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. No, I'm also just talking about also all the analysis that were done about Calafiori before he actually signed, and after he kind of like signed, and then they were showing all the mistakes that he has.
Okay.
So that is
I think,
by the way, I love the
agree
signing.
to disagree.
I love the signing. I think the signing is going to be amazing once Arteta gets to work with them very perfectly. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Guys, first 3 games of the season, Guys, our objective this season is to win the league. If you drop points, whether it's the first 3 games or the first 2 games of the season, if you drop points then, those are the points that we'll look back at the end of the season and we'll say there. We did the same thing with Fulham, we did the same thing with West Ham, and we did the same thing with Villa last season. And which games do we lost the points by 2 league boys? By 2 points, sorry. We lost the league by 2 points. And we look at the Fulham game, we look at the West Ham game, and we look at the Villa game. So when you are trying to win the league, every single game is important. There is no, it's just the beginning of the season. We are up against City. That is a winning machine when it comes to the last 15 games of the season. We know that they will go flawless and they'll win everything. So we can't look at just the start of the season and write it off as, no, look, it's just the first few games. It's okay, we're warming up. There's no room for warm up when you're up against City. You have to win every game. Well, not win every game.
But they've not been flawless.
Every game.
But they've not been flawless.
Stefan, I'm with you 100%.
They've not been flawless.
You're right. We should be.
We are up against a beast of a team.
But Sisanda, let's look at this in context. We weren't meant to lose that Brighton game. If we're being 100%.
Well,
no, but we didn't take
let's move on to the Brighton game, guys. Let's move on to the Brighton game.
Declan Rice did whatever he did. For me, that's according to the letter of the law.
Technically, we should still be 3 W's up.
We didn't take our chances. We just did not.
Yeah, that's the problem. We didn't have a striker. We didn't have someone to take those chances. We've got a midfield of a striker. So that's another conversation, basically. So, hey, there's a lot of elements to this, to winning this league. Maybe based on just these 3 games at the beginning. We are still going to fine-tune the system. I believe that we're going to be all right with Mourinho also running, and I believe and I pray that it unlocks Gabriel on the other side. So, and City, as much as City is a juggernaut, it has not been that perfect. It's not been the juggernaut that everybody speaks about, that loses and never draws. We just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's consistency that's been called out here. Yes.
You can say that, but Chief, the evidence are just different. I mean, well, we had it in our own hands last season, and somehow we managed to fuck it up, right? And
no, that was the season before. I don't think we had it in our hands this season. It was
this season. We lost.
I don't think we had it in our hands.
No, the season before. This one was a tight one. This one was a tight one. We had a tight run. This one.
Hear me out.
Did you see our fixture list at the end of the year, man? I didn't even believe we'll be second.
No,
After losing against Aston Villa and I looked at the rest of the games, I was like, wow. But the season before, that was in our bag.
We lost
No, we choked 22-23, we choked 23-24.
We lost
23-24, we fought to the end.
Yeah,
we lost the league by 2 points, right?
Yeah.
And there were games in there that we should have won. This is the point that I'm getting.
Just let Rams make his point.
No, this is the point that I'm getting to. We lost games that we were supposed to win. We lost against Fulham. We could have gotten something from Aston Villa in those 2 games. We lost. And I think we have to take accountability for that. Because if we're looking at City, we know how they roll. We know that they're going to, if it comes to a title push, they're in the lead. So we have to make sure that we don't give them the opportunity we don't give them a sniff to get next to us. And we have the ability to do that. And if you guys are going to sit here and say that because we finished 2 points behind City, it means that we did put up a good fight, but it was not good enough.
Yeah.
We need to do more. We need to make sure, like you said, Sisanda, games like the games we drew against Brighton probably shouldn't have happened. Right?
But can we put
this
it in
is
context?
Brighton we're talking about. This is Brighton we're talking about. We're not talking about Man United. We're talking about Brighton. But besides that, actually, one thing I wanted to say, is that do you guys realize that City needed to break records to actually win this league the last season? It was no ordinary league. It was no ordinary run. They needed to actually make history to beat it, for them to lose. That's when you realize that the juggernaut were also versing a crazy juggernaut that we might not see in another lifetime.
Exactly.
Or we might, but yeah, hopefully the fair play rule and all those stuff will be out.
That we then have
But
to
then,
be immaculate. We have
yes,
to be
but then what I'm saying is that even those losses that we had, like your Fulham and everyone, mostly there in January, would you also say that it was also because of our lack of depth? Like how Saka was pretty tired before they went to Dubai. Even if you saw how he actually played versus Liverpool at the FA Cup. You know, a lot of the team was a bit, I think we also lacked a lot of depth, which hopefully, I'm not sure, I'm just being hopeful and trusting Arteta. Maybe Sterling might help in that regard. So, you know, and then we've got Marino right now to also come in if Partey goes out. You know, we still have to swing the other middle fielder from Chelsea. We still have, so it looks like we might have a better team. Yeah,
we've got.
Where I think we can have more consistent.
Kogetso?
Sorry.
We're going to talk about transfers.
I know I jumped the bus. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Sorry, it's okay. We'll get there now. So we'll talk about depth now. I want to bring up a point about the refs. That we were robbed in the Newcastle game last year. We were robbed in the West Ham game last year. We like to kind of hack on our own players, but let's really talk about those two games, because if we had got 3 points against Newcastle, or even 2 points against a point against Newcastle, and maybe 3 points against West Ham, we win the league. So the refs did also cost us the league last season. So that's something that this whole thing with Rice and what happened with them not being consistent, João Pedro kicking the ball 40 meters in the first half, getting no yellow card, then Rice toes the ball 2 centimeters, not even, so maybe 20 centimeters, and he gets a yellow card, and then gets a second yellow, and then is a red, and then we draw the game, we drop points. We wouldn't have dropped points if Rice didn't get sent off. I know you're saying that Kai Havertz should have scored that goal. Yes, he was one-on-one, yes. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't have got more chances to bury the game other than just the Kai Havertz chance, because we were playing with 10 men. So we did well to get a point in a situation that the ref put us in. Is there a point where we actually need to sue the PGMOL, because they also didn't draw the lines in the Brentford game? That was 22-23. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a TikTok that talks about the agenda between the media and Arsenal. And there's actually a long history of it from back in the 1930s. So I can send it some other time and we can discuss it, maybe actually play the video and discuss it, because it's really interesting. But I think we are being hard on ourselves for trying to beat robots, but we're also facing robots and we're fighting against refs. That's something I want to bring up.
Dan, as a fan base, let's move away from that ref thing. We're not the only team that suffers inconsistencies from the ref. Liverpool at Tottenham were robbed horribly, worse than we've ever been robbed. That Luis Diaz goal at Liverpool. So I don't want us to focus too much on that, because when we look at that Newcastle game, that Anthony Gordon thing where I think the ball was out, or there was no conclusive evidence to suggest that that ball was out, right? And that's not to say that. No, there wasn't. I've never seen conclusive evidence that the ball was out, because I don't know if you watched it back. Gary Neville did a whole thing where they demonstrated that the ball may look out from a different camera view, but the ball is actually still in, because you need the whole ball out of the. So I want us to move away from that, because also what we fall into the risk of doing is assuming that if that goal was not scored, we would have won the game, which I don't think we would have won that game. Maybe we would have gotten at best a point from that game. So I want us to move away from that, because we didn't even put ourselves in a position to say that, look, if that goal wasn't scored, we would have won that game. Same as Brighton when Declan Rice told it and it was a red card for him. Kai Havertz should have scored his chance. That what would have won us the game. We didn't draw this game because of the Declan red card. We drew the game because Kai Havertz and Saka shanked his chance as well. We drew that game because we didn't take our chances. So I don't like the whole thing that we do as a fan base where we put things on the ref. We've all had, all across the whole top six, we've all had our fair share of shit refereeing, if I may use the term. So I don't like it when we fall back and we say, no, it's the ref this, it's the ref that. We must take our chances. We must be accountable for the chances that we don't take, and we must admit that, listen, we drew that Brighton game because, listen, even with 11 men, I'm not convinced that that game would have been a win in the Brighton game because we just don't take our chances. Refs did not cost us. Refs did not stop us from taking our chances. In the Brighton game, we had two big chances. Last season, Newcastle were playing crap. Sorry, I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, that's fine. No, read it.
Yeah, he says last season Newcastle were playing crap. Before Newcastle scored, we actually had 0 shots on target. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, I agree. Refs are rubbish, but every team has decision that goes against them, bro. So I don't think we can blame the refs. That's exactly what I'm saying. We can't pin everything on the refs. But if we take our chances, we eliminate crap ref decisions.
So I think your conversation is right. I think your point is right as well. I think there's two ways to look at it also. The one way is we have to find a way to keep refs accountable. And I also do understand that we have to do our best, right, to win the game outside of the referee's influence. And yes. I'm in full agreement with you. But then we're not constrained to doing one thing at one go. We can still do the other thing. Some of the decisions that these refs are making are completely insane. Like the one at Brighton, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe Declan Rice was being sent off for that. Right, guys? That changed the whole complexity of the game and put us in our back foot. And to counter that, if Declan Rice stayed on that pitch, I'm more than confident that we win that game. We definitely win that game. But I think based on what? Because we're 1-0 ahead, we're controlling.
We're dominating in the first half.
We had literally 0 chances, perhaps 1 odd chance. We were in prime position to win that game.
But why don't we go 2-0 ahead then?
Yeah, listen to what I'm getting to that. I think Arteta needs to do a lot more work in kind of looking preemptively at bad decisions being taken against us. Because I thought that when we were 1 down, we kind of took a laid-back approach to the game. We tried to close shit up. We tried to kind of put 5 guys at the back. And I don't think we should be doing that against teams like Brighton. We need to go for the kill. We need to try. Even when the odds are stacked against us, we still need to go ahead and try and win the game. And I felt that was one flaw that I picked up in that game that I felt we need to do better. And again, we need to play in a way that allows us to win games even when referees or refereeing decisions are going against us. So I think there's 2 ways to look at it, but we can't ignore the fact that the refs are garbage. We can't ignore that.
Yeah, I mean we're the best league in the world, but we have the worst refs. So is there not I'm hoping that there's a way that you can actually start importing better refs into the Premier League, or does it have to be English refs?
Bro, I watched shades of the AFCON and I thought the refereeing there was significantly better than what I saw.
Much better.
I see in the Premier League every week. Way better. Why can't we have refs like that?
Yeah.
The guys want to be the stars of the show. They want to, it doesn't make sense to me.
But for me, guys, the playing level is equal.
Following the letter of the law is garbage as well. You need to put your discretion in.
the ref is not just shit for Arsenal. The ref is shit for everyone.
But that's the
City
problem.
get decisions against them. Liverpool
That's
get
the
decisions against them. Manchester get. So
But
it's
look at the stats. Look at the stats, Sisanda. The stats will tell you something different, right? And I think it came out that Wolves was probably the worst, the guys that got the worst brunt of the bad refereeing decisions. The stats are there, so you can't explicitly say that the refs are equally bad towards all clubs. It's not the case. Look
Do
at
you think
City.
there's an
Half the
agenda
time-
against Arsenal?
I don't think there's an agenda. I just think they're garbage, and that something needs to change. I think
But
that
garbage.
If you look at where most of the refs,
some
Rams.
clubs get the benefit of the doubt, and we in most cases don't.
yeah. If you look at where most of the refs come from, most of the refs come from Manchester, Liverpool, and very few come from London. So there is a clear north bias. There's a north bias.
I think also none of them are in like international footballing associations as well. It's like one or two English refs are. But like, look, I want to just speak a bit about that game. Sorry, because this is the game I was waiting to chat about because my heart is still hurt here. Because and I share testament to everything you said. We shouldn't be losing these games because of one thing. We could have won it with 10 men, but I think if we have to really be okay from my perspective, yours can judge me, but to be really fair, we were on top, and I felt the tactic was to hurt us in a very like a dirty, I call it dirty tactics. They were niggling soccer. There were a few fouls that I felt cards should have been drawn, but the referee let it slide. I think this was where they say, I think everywhere we heard letter of the law, and it's quite frustrating because benefit of the doubt, common sense, all of that. But the big thing is it did change the game because we lost a pivotal player, especially in the center of the park, and in 10 men, it's been a while, dude, like I think Arteta's second season or first season, it was like 10 games, we had 10 men, the Xhaka syndrome, like just silly stuff happening. But I think the way I have to look at it is in terms of the situation that happened, I think we played well because the way Brighton attacked us for that 10, 15 minutes straight after that red card, it was quite impressive. I won't lie. We defended well, but still it talks to you, Sisanda. It's that ball, that through ball that cost us that goal, the defensive error there. It's these fine margins, Havertz missing, Saka missing, then it's 2-1, and then, it's like, it's a whole different game. Whether we liked it or not, the red card did play a role in a tactical change in the game, but maybe we should have been more clinical before that, so it's things like that. And I think the one thing I would say, it's not nice dropping points, but it's good to drop points early in the season. I know with City being City, but these areas need to be corrected now. And maybe, as you were saying earlier, later down in the seasons, we have been a bit, I'm going to say, woeful, not use any other words like that people like, but we let it slip. And maybe these kind of lessons will be taught to us and we can rectify. But, I can't disagree with any of you because, like, Gabriel does cost us at times. Maybe Calafiori is better. We do have these things, these referees. We are playing against a ref no matter what game it is. I'll take everyone back to like the 49 Invincibles game and think about the referee. So we've always been, I think Arteta's agenda is play the game so we win without the referee being important. And we could have won that game. I think the irritating part is that we could have won that game. And then us being Arsenal fans, we want to find ways that, shows that, we were wrong. But we kind of were. But I think it's testament to where Arteta's come, where we 10 men down, Declan Rice, marquee signing off the pitch, and we can almost win a game. Again, a very vibrant team. Brighton, we have to also give them respect. They won in the game second half, but first half. But when they came in, they really showed us flames at times, so it's unfortunate, but I don't think, I don't even know, dude. It's just a hurtful one. I think like it's testament to a little bit of flaws we might have in our side. Maybe we didn't strengthen, maybe we need a killer, maybe Calafiori needs to start and see, but it's not lacquer, man. If we went 11-11 and we lost fair, we drew fair, like Fulham. No, Fulham was even worse because they had 10 men. But yeah, so
Yeah.
well, I don't like. I'm just like, I just don't like these things because we're not playing at a fair advantage, whether the referee was good or bad, you know.
Yeah.
But it's testament to how far we've come, and it's testament to how far we come as fans because we're not raging at a red card. You know what I mean? So I don't know, dude. It's like, and I do get what you guys are saying. It's a
Sorry, I
tough
think
game.
we need to move on, gents. Let's move on to the
Yeah.
transfer window. And I know that you have things that you want to share, Susander, but I see the time and we've got a lot that we need to get through still. So let's go on to the transfer window. So we had 4 big incomings. Obviously, Raya was already going to be an obligation to buy, so he kind of isn't incoming in this window, but these are the 4 main guys that came through. So the first signing was Calafiori. We've spoken a lot about him. Very promising, very exciting. Can play left center back, left back. Then we've got Marino, who can play defensive mid and left center mid. Very exciting player, the biggest dual winner in Europe by far. Also very strong in aerial duels, so very excited to see him, but worried about him getting injured for 6 to 8 weeks and then Rice being out at the same time, and also Rice just not looking himself. I don't feel like he's started the season well before he got sent off. I think he's been tired from the Euros, so that's something we can also talk about, because there are some free transfers, like players that you can sign at any time of the season. If there are, I know Rabiot is one that's available. I'm pro Rabiot coming in with Marino being out for 6 to 8 weeks. Just give him a year contract. You know, I think we're a bit tight in the squad. If you look at the whole kind of concept with the 2022-23 squad, there was about 14 to 15 players that Arteta trusted. Last season, I would say there was about 18 players that he trusted and he played regularly. We need to have about 21 to 22 players that he trusts and plays regularly. So that's something that I'm thinking of in terms of, can we trust Wanyeri to come in when Rice is out? Can we trust if Odegaard gets injured? If Odegaard gets injured, I think we are the most screwed out of all of the positions. So looking at our window, do you guys think we did enough? Let's look at the midfield first, because we've talked about the defense, we've talked about the attack, but let's look at the actual midfield. Do you guys think we've done enough in the midfield?
I'll judge the window as a whole. No. What we really did well were our outgoings, and I maintain this, that we got rid of what we wanted to get rid of, but I don't think our incomings were great, guys. Let's be honest with each other. When we finished the season, last season, we knew exactly what it was that we needed to address. And when we sit now, looking back, did we actually address what we needed to address? I don't think so. We all knew that we needed a backup to Saka, right? Okay, look, we bought in Raheem Sterling. Okay, fine. He's going to do that. We knew that we needed a gunman. We didn't address that area, right? Look, we got in Calafiori and Mourinho. Good signings, but those were areas that we didn't really need to address. The areas that we actually really needed to address, I don't think we did enough to do that. Outgoings, I'm perfectly happy. We got rid of everyone. When we started last season, we thought to ourselves, okay, who are the fringe players? Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe with his injuries. Who else left? Vieira. I almost said Patrick Vieira. Vieira left. We needed to get rid of him. We did. So whatever it is that we needed to get rid of, we did. But in terms of our incomings, I'm not very convinced. I don't think we're stronger than we were last season, but which is crazy, but because I don't think we're weaker than we were. I just think we just maintained the same position. So
if I may ask you a question, Sisanda,
yeah,
who would you have had come into the club?
I would have loved Pedro Neto. Chelsea got him for about 60, yeah? Or so, 65 maybe, I'm not sure. And that's how much we paid for Havertz. But anyway, I would have loved Pedro Neto. I would have loved, obviously, there are players that we're going to speak about here which weren't available. People like Musiala, people like Eze, people like...
Eze was available.
I think Eze was available.
Eze was
Eze
available.
was available. He had a 60
That was
million
a
release
big
clause.
chance missed.
Even the
Big
coach
chance
came out.
missed.
The coach came out and said that he's shocked that he didn't get as much interest as he would have expected.
Yeah.
But
I think we were broke, guys.
I think we missed out on that transfer.
Yeah. So,
I think we broke, to be honest,
For me-
guys. Like,
For me, I think we only missed one player. We tightened up the midfield. We got in Calafiori. We had Timber, who pretty much didn't play for pretty much the whole season last season. He's coming in. He's pretty much like a new player. We've got Calafiori. So the defense.
Arsene Wenger syndrome. New
The-
players.
Okay, so
The
that is
defense.
exactly what it is. That is
The
exactly
defense
what
for me is sorted. We don't need any more on the defense. Our midfield is sorted as well. We've got Partey. I just feel like he needs to kind of get back to the Partey that we know. We need to get him back to 22, 23 Partey. And then we've got a killer there. That guy was compared to the Rodriguez and the former Casemiros of this world. He was up there with the best, right? And I still think he's got the capability to get there. We got in Marino. I think he's decent. We just need perhaps cover for Odegaard, and I thought that man would have been Vieira, but he's been taken out on loan. And up front is where I would say that I think we're probably one player short. I would have loved to have gotten a player like Nico Williams. I think he's a baller. I think he's the type of player we need. We need a guy that can beat his man. We need a guy that's slick with it. You know what I mean? Like a street footballer. We don't have that. Saka's very methodical, but he gets the job done. You know what I mean? He's that guy. But we need a guy that can really break lines, break defenses, and allow all the other players to then feed into that. And the signing of Sterling is like a half-baked version of Williams, because Williams is a guy that you can get and keep for the long term. And that's the type of signing that I think we fell short on. But I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a terrible, transfer window, because
Out of 10, what do you give the window? Out of 10.
Out of 10, I'll give it a 7 or 6. 6 or 7.
6 is fine. Game?
I'd also give it a 6, yeah.
So I guess
I'll have to give it a 6.
that one forward signing, that guy that, he's going to do that for you. He's clinical. He's skillful. He's got everything you want in a winger. That's the only thing I think Williams, I want Williams.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something quickly, quite interesting? Do you know actually Martinelli had at certain times similar and other times better stats than Williams last season?
Last season?
Yep. It's one shocking thing. Maybe the stats I was reading was kind of like falsified, but it's something that I also kind of don't want to believe, but apparently. So that comes the question: are we going to give up on Martinelli? Are we just going to were we going to put him on the second, coming on the striker, coming on second off kind of guy?
Can I take this?
He's still young. He still has that. He just needs to. I don't know. We need to bring him back somehow. I don't know how, but yeah.
No, for me, we have to maintain ruthlessness across the team. And if Martinelli is not having a great, his off form or anything to that effect, he needs to then go out. He'll play other games and then find his way back into the team. We can't be carrying guys for what they've done in the past. We have to look at what they're doing now And if that's not good enough, then they need to fuck off, and we'll need to then get the next best player in. That's why, for me, I think Trossard should be starting games going forward until Martinelli shows us something different. But we know the quality that Martinelli has. We know that he's pacey, he can finish, he's clinical, he's everything you want in a right winger or left winger rather. And at this point, he's not doing it. But in that event, then fucking Trossard needs to come in and play. That's it.
I agree.
I've
I
always
agree with
seen
you.
Trossard. Like, I always find Trossard a bit slowish to get going when he starts.
I'm not trying to hear that.
I'm wondering. No. By the way, no. By the way, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. I fully agree with you. I'm just putting out a different idea. Because even versus Brighton, Trossard was actually quite on and off in the game.
He was poor. But
why do we give Trossard 1 game to impress and we give Martinelli 5 games and then he's got
That's
grace?
a good question.
I don't understand.
But we played Havertz into form. We played Raya into form. So why don't the other people get chances?
Havertz was on form as he started as a central forward, but when he was a left centre mid, he wasn't on form, and I agree he was played into form. But by the time he was played up front, he hit the ground running. It was at 2 different positions. With Trossard, if you look at the end of last year, in that 17 games that we won, 16 of the 17, Trossard played most of those games and started most of those games and scored in most of those games. If you actually go back and look at them, there was a time when he, in a lot of big games in the beginning and middle of the season, he came on as a sub and scored. So those are in our mind, and that's the impact that he made. But if you actually look at those games where we had that impressive run, he was starting and playing well and scoring. He scored in the game we played against United when we won 1-0. If he hadn't started and scored, we wouldn't have won that game.
So he does really deserve more respect from us and Arsenal.
Yes.
Sorry,
one
Kish.
One guy that joined in, Shannon, he actually is a YouTuber as well. He was part of like some stuff I did a long time ago. I don't know if he's online now. Shannon, are you there? Sorry. Maybe you can read that comment out to the read Arthur. Dane from Arthur. So read it out.
Could you put it up again? Could you put Arthur's comment up again? The main point is, in every game, players play based on the referee, not the rules of the game. So if a player sees that a ref allows hard tackles, they will do it in that game. They play based on the context of the ref. So if I'm Rice and I see the ref is not giving cards for kicking the ball, then I'm going to act in the context of that game. So I in no way blame Rice. I blame the ref. Yeah, I agree with you, Arthur.
No. Guys, when are we going to take accountability?
We rewind it,
Guys, guys, if we look at that, guys, listen. Declan Rice knew what he was doing. Let's be honest. Declan Rice knew exactly what he was doing. That ball and it rolled to him, and he looked at it.
But that roll was not so far. That roll was just right there. He didn't kick the ball. He didn't delay the ball that much. No.
Never.
Leave the ball alone.
What letter of the law? What letter of the law?
No.
That yellow card is never given.
No.
For over 10 years, you guys kick the ball a bit, and all of a sudden you must stop in one game.
No.
Even if you want to go back, what about that McGinn on Saliba challenge? You know what I mean? Where he kicked the ball. But Ben White's a G though. But
who's this guy? Votman took the free kick.
This is our problem.
He played the ball forward. He played the ball.
Yes, it was our fault. Yes, it was our fault. But we also need consistency from the refs. Yes, it's our fault. It might be in our hand to try score more. But these decisions really do change a lot of things, and that's why even I think it was 2 seasons ago or 3 when Aston was actually top of the log of the world, like the decisions going against them. You know, and even last season when they had to even intervene up at all the niggling tackles on Saka, that slows down the game.
Okay.
So we need to look at this as the referees need to look at this and fix this. and then
Did
we'll
Declan
do
Rice-
our part and score. We'll do our part and score.
Did Declan
Sorry,
Rice
sorry about that.
by mistake?
Sisanda, I can't imagine that you watched that game and Declan Rice got a yellow card and you're like, yeah, that's the right decision.
No. I was angry. I was livid. I was like, ref, where's the consistency? But when we go back and we look at it and we apply the letter of the law, did Declan Rice kick that ball by mistake?
How many things go by the letter of the law there?
No.
There's no consistency.
You got a ball.
The
My
problem
question
is
is,
consistency.
did
Sunday.
Declan Rice
You know-
kick the ball by mistake?
Arthur just
No,
created.
but
There's a
Yeah.
letter of the law and it's just controlling the game. That is an idiotic foul. It's like you giving Gabriel versus Bayern Munich the yellow card for that schoolboy mistake, as they called it. The whole thing is loud. Everything is crazy. Do you remember when Percy actually got a red card, a second yellow card versus Barcelona as he kicked that ball?
Let's take
And
accountability.
that loud.
Declan Rice knew exactly what he was doing when he kicked the ball. Let's be honest.
But the FA also needs to take accountability on their side. Also,
No, guys, no.
it must be equal on both sides.
Bro,
The
These
moral of
stuffs
this
do
story-
affect.
the best refs, the best
Declan
refs,
Rice.
best refs.
Okay, here we are right now. Here we are. From that foul, we don't have Declan Rice versus Tottenham.
Yes.
Every
because
other
he
ref would have
made-
gone the whole world and said that thing was never supposed to happen.
He made a stupid error. It was an error. He should not have done what he did. The ball is rolling again next to you. Why are you touching it?
When you talk about the letter of the law, just this week,
Declan Rice, why are you touching a ball that's
But
rolling
here's the
next to
thing.
you when
Here's the
free
thing.
kick is given against you? You've got a free kick.
Yeah.
You are walking away. Why are you touching the ball?
Hey,
Why are you touching the ball?
But okay, this week they actually showed a video of the PGL guy, and they were showing different clips
Come on,
of
come on.
when is it a red card and when is it a yellow card.
No, those were both yellow cards. Guys. German came
All
out
I'm saying is
and
that
said-
they were showing a video. They were showing a video to one of the PGL guy, and then they were like showing different clips of when was the ball, the yellow card or not a yellow card. You know, he said the yellow card was supposed to be given to Rice, but the rest of the videos he said no, the guy who's kicking was supposed to get a red card. And it's like going, okay, cool. So why isn't this letter of the law applied here? That's how inconsistent this letter of the law was. That's how inconsistent this letter of the law
Why are
was.
we not talking about that tackle on Declan Rice? Was that necessary?
Even the refs don't know their own rules. That's what it showed.
Let's just put ourselves in Declan Rice's shoes, right? You are Declan Rice now, right? You have been given a free kick against you, right? You know that it's their ball, it's not our ball. You are walking away. The ball is rolling next to you. Why are you touching it? Why are you touching the ball?
But
Because
wait,
you-
forget the
Alexander, this is-
before I carry on.
Dane, can we talk about
Why
something
are
else?
you
This
touching
is
the
lovely.
ball?
Yeah,
From
we-
here onwards, I do not want to see anyone touching the ball. That's not their ball.
It's fine.
From here onwards.
Fine.
From here onwards, nobody must touch that ball. Okay.
Wait.
Let's
I'll
take
tell you
accountability
something.
for our actions.
Not also
Let's
made-
isolate-
Do you know how crazy it is? Do you know how crazy that thing is? That if it's not your ball and the ball, you must not touch that ball. Do you know how crazy it is? Do you see how many yellow cards are going to be there?
It's not your
Oh,
ball.
yeah.
It's been given
Let me
against
add some more fuel here. Wait, let me add some more fuel.
Leave the ball
That's
alone.
something for you
Leave it
guys.
alone.
But
It's
but
sad,
it's
wait,
all right.
wait.
It's like
Oh.
half the time, all football players do this. Goalkeepers
It's
do
No,
this.
but
fine.
one
It
thing
doesn't make it right.
But from here onwards, no one must do it. There must be yellow cards.
All
No,
I'm
no,
If
saying
no.
is,
goalkeeper touches the ball, that's not his yellow card. You're wasting time.
there has to be
Oh, no,
consistency
check, guys.
across the
I think
board.
one thing we
You
also
can't,
miss.
you can't have things
Yes.
happen for another player, not happen for other. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one thing. But let's
Guys,
even take it back. Let's
it's
take it back.
wrong.
Wait. Let's take it back.
Whether other people do, it's still wrong.
No, but let's look at it like this. Okay, Declan Rice should have not touched that ball, sure enough.
Yes.
But nobody's even talking about how this guy can just kick Declan Rice like that.
Kick
He can just kick him. Just like that.
Exactly. That's the other point. Where people have gotten red cards for that offense. People have gotten red cards for that offense.
No, that does
That's
not
not
negate.
Malacca, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, yeah.
Bro,
It doesn't negate him being wrong.
Guys,
It does not negate it.
Guys, I think let's move on. Let's agree to disagree on this point. Let's agree to disagree on this point. We got other things we need to get through.
We're not bringing
Let's
peace
go
in
back
everyone's
to let's go back to ins and outs.
I just bring Shannon in. Shannon.
Yo, guys, how you doing? Good, man.
What's up, Shannon?
Yeah, how's it, guys? So, listen, if you're going to ask me my opinion on the window, I'm actually going to give it a higher rating than what most people think. If you look at it collectively, we let go of Nelson, Smith Rowe, and Nketiah for a combined wage of around £300,000. If you look at goal contribution from all three players last season, I think you're looking at maybe not even 10 goals. You bring in Raheem Sterling as a forward option on £100,000. In my opinion, it leaves us in a good state to bring in someone in January. In my opinion, what I think Arsenal might look into doing is activating that release clause with Victor Osimhen in January. And then you've really strengthened the squad. I think the squad can handle itself from now to January. And then in January, you can then invest because you also sold well. I think, guys, we're looking at names. We're not actually looking at the idea behind the squad. If you compare our squad from today to like 2 seasons ago, we have an overall better squad. Our floor has been raised, and we haven't maybe got a ceiling player, but there's enough, in my opinion, in depth to carry us from now to January. I don't think the squad, you can say, is any weaker because of the players we've sold. Maybe you haven't gotten that level raiser that everyone is crying for, but I don't think it's as a bigger issue as what people are making it out to be. You know, yes, you maybe drop points against Brighton on last weekend, but again, those are extraordinary circumstances. Like those are the points that you can be frustrated at. Again, we didn't lose, and I looked at the Invincibles run, guys. I think in their first 6 games, they won 3 or won 4 and drew 2. Right, so we are still unbeaten. It's just that everybody thinks that okay, Arsenal needed to sign this X player or this level of player to compete with City. Where it's like City have an anomaly. They got Haaland, guys. Even if you sign Gyökeres, even if you sign Osimhen, like, what's the guarantee? There's no guarantee in these signings. I think what Arteta and Edu did has shored up the squad, in my opinion, shored us up for at least the next 4 or 5 months till January. So that's just me. I think the window is very, very underrated.
I agree with you, bro. I agree that we did more floor raising than ceiling raising. And everyone wants ceiling raising, but some windows you need to do floor raising. So I think that's a really key point. And the one thing, though, I'm disappointed about is that we lost Smith Rowe, Nelson, and Nketiah, 3 forwards, and we brought in 1 forward. So that's my one main disappointment about the window. But I mentioned it earlier when we were like arguing. I have a feeling we have PSR issues. I have a feeling that there's something going on PSR-wise because we really didn't spend much this window according to our net spend. So I think the output that we put in terms of spending last season, we are having to kind of reckon with that this season. And we might spend more in January. I don't know how things work according to which kind of window they do the PSR, but I know it's every 3 years. So maybe we'll bring more people in January. So I think that's a good point about January.
100%, but and I also got to say that, you know, I don't really think that Arteta and Edu trusted any forward enough this summer. I think they look at Victor Gyökeres and probably think to themselves, if this guy can replicate last season's form this season, then maybe we're going for him again. Or you look at a Osimhen who had a really good season in Napoli, but Napoli finished 10th last season, guys. He had a very unproductive season last season. So when you look at 120 million, they probably think, nah. But can we gamble on 60 million for Osimhen in January? I definitely think so. The ultimate target is probably
near the end of the transfer window.
Newcastle don't want to do business with us at the moment. So why not go for a player like Sterling, which you worked with, which you have more faith in? Ultimately, that's what also let us down last season, is that Arteta didn't trust the players that he had. We've got a small squad, but we have more players available because Arteta will play them. That's what I think. You know, you can see, guys, come on, Sterling, Jesus, and Martinelli front 3 against every other team, bar City and maybe Liverpool. I'm confident we win that game with those front 3.
Golden Guna, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I have a question around your fascination with Osimhen. Why are you so fascinated with Osimhen?
I'm not even Osman's biggest fan, guys. I'm just looking at a market opportunity. 25-year-old striker. I mean, he came and he scored yesterday for Nigeria, so his confidence, he looks like he's in a better mental state. You know, he sacked his agent. He brokered his own deal to Galatasaray. So I just think the risk reward is there. Like Havertz was 65 million, Osman for 60 million. I'm not really looking at it as I mean, guys, that's great business. He could come in as a hit. He's only 25, 26 as a striker who's proven, maybe not at the highest level as maybe La Liga or Premier League, but he's got a good track record. 2 league title wins with Lille and Napoli for 60 million, guys. I mean, we were turning our noses last season. I know almost all of us when we heard 65 million for Havertz. Just 60 million for Osman, maybe you give him 250, 300,000. But is that not the same level as Havertz? What has Havertz done besides the Champions League goal that you can say is better than Aston?
Well, I think from 2024, like starting 24, like I said earlier, I think he's had a decent GA return. And if you look at the way he gels with the team, I don't think Osimhen will provide that level of interaction with the other players. I would have said differently. Like I genuinely want to get Williams in the team. So I'd rather put up another 20 million or 30 million, whatever the case may be, on top of that 60, and get that guy in the team. For me, I think Osimhen, I've not seen enough to convince me that he's exactly what we need to take us forward. I watched him in the AFCON and I was not impressed, not in the slightest. So I'm not sure about him. I don't know much about him. I don't watch. Is he in the Italian league? I don't watch that much, so I wouldn't know up front. But I think we're better off putting up 20, 30 million for a guy like Williams and then get that guy in.
Look, we'll never get him for 20, 30 million.
No, I think 30 million on top of the 60. So
you mean 90 million? But Williams has a release clause of 60 million. Williams has a release clause of 60 million.
Why don't we get him?
Guys,
his wage demands were too much. His wage demands were 300
I really think it's Barcelona pound.
30 million comes in. Get the guy in the
I think it's also Barcelona pound.
That's the thing.
That could be true.
I think the biggest problem with Osimhen was his agent, apparently. Apparently, his the biggest stumbling block was the asking price and the asking detail of the agent.
But guys, are we convinced?
It wasn't his attitude.
Are we convinced that this guy is the guy that we need?
Listen, guys.
The problem is that who else? Who else is a striker?
So who would your top 3 strikers be that you would go for? Or top 3 forwards that you would go for? If you couldn't get the first and you have what would be your top 3, each of us?
I need
Who's going to start?
Because we need to be...
I'm getting Isak.
Realistically, guys, not in your dreams. Realistically,
I think 100 mil in the winter or is it summer for them? We might get him for 100 if we go for Isak. I think we might be able to, but that's still if and might. Otherwise, I think Osimhen is the most likeliest of strikers of that caliber. I really think Osimhen has a lot of qualities, good qualities.
Osimhen is trash, man.
Yeah, Osimhen is trash.
I think so.
No, Osimhen is
Osimhen
is it because the PSL guys? Is it because the Bafana guys locked him down? Now we've tossed him.
He literally started that whole tournament after an injury.
I think
it was just after an injury.
I'm not seeing from the little that I've seen, he's trash.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nah.
Let's not get back on 17-year-old.
But I will.
Have you seen Osimhen's minute per goal numbers? Have you seen his minute per goal numbers in Italy?
He's very underrated, guys. I think that's, and I won't lie to you.
I think
underrated. It's African tag.
Can you share the
Salah
stats?
gets the same treatment. Mo Salah, for example, is an elite bowler, but never gets the credit as his European counterpart.
Who?
You know, Mo Salah compared to like European players. He's not held to the same esteem. I think Osman is the same.
I agree with you.
No, most
People are
Salah's a
calling for
Liverpool
guys.
legend.
I mean, hold on.
Salah's a
People are calling
legend.
for Ivan Toney, who had one good
Salah's
season in the
a-
Premier League. Other than that, he played Championship football. Osman has been bagging goals for Lille in League One, won a league title, and for Napoli and won a league title. But we discrediting him, guys. No. You need to
No, Salah's a
also
legend.
again.
Let's
No,
not talk about
Salah,
Salah.
Okay,
Salah's a
guys,
Liverpool
make my
legend.
final
Everybody
point.
knows about Salah, bro. Salah walks into our team
No.
right now.
No, I'm not disputing it. What I'm saying is, in terms of prestige and how they see, like Salah, guys. If you look at Salah's numbers,
So does Saka
Salah
sit
should have
down
the
because
Ballon d'Or.
Salah walks in?
Yes.
So-
No, Salah can play on the left. But
The point
No.
that I'm making is that
honestly speaking, Salah is a
Guys.
better player than Saka, guys. If we're being
Salah is
honest,
yeah,
better
obviously
than
that.
Saka.
Come on.
Salah is a better player
One
than
at a
Saka.
time,
The
guys.
ceiling is very
Please.
high with Saka.
One at a time. Let's just
If
talk
I-
one at a time. Yeah, let's raise our hands, and because it's a bit difficult when we're all talking at the same time.
Yeah, cool. I just want to finish my point, and then I'll let you guys go. It's just that, like I said, the forward that we're looking for, guys. For example, Haaland. Haaland has nothing besides goals, in my opinion. Yes, he's got good off the ball runs, but he doesn't really link up play. He has many minimal touches. So why do we think that Aston needs to come and be this great connector? He just needs to score. Who cares? So the whole fascination with, I don't know if he fits our style. Like, just, guys, the objective is to score. That should be our main thing. Can we get a forward that scores? I don't care if it's Osman. I don't care if it's a player like Ollie Watkins. I just need someone that can bag goals. Whether it's from, again, in my thing, you guys are top 3 forwards. I don't have a top 3 because I just need someone that's efficient. It's very difficult to say, get this guy, because what is your guarantee? There's no guarantees. Like, there's very few players that guarantee you output. They're all 30 plus. Salah, Lewandowski, still Ronaldo, like, for example, those are all the players on the end of their careers. And then the young players, the Seskos, the Vlahoviches, they still, they're still cooking, guys. Strikers only mature around 30. So we're going to have to make an investment in a forward. So, with Aston, it doesn't mean that he needs to come in and win us the title now. I'm still looking at your Sakas. I'm looking at your Trossards, those guys, to fire us to the title because they've got the experience with the team. Aston would just be, or the forward would just be that guy at the tight moments just to maybe nick you a goal. If Havertz, for example, was playing for a centre forward last season, I guarantee you would probably win the league title just purely for the chances that were left on the field that maybe he wasn't in positions to score. So, yeah.
So, you don't have top 3. So, Sisanda, do you have 3 that you would bring in realistically with the price tag? Who would your top 3 be in that you would bring in? Forwards.
Alexander Isak.
Realistically, he's going to be 120-30 million. That's not realistic for us.
He spends 100 on Rice.
We did, but now we can't spend another 100 million.
Well, Musiala.
Also 130 million. So we've got to look at what we can realistically bring in. We can't be upset with Arteta for not bringing in players that
100%.
are going to be. We can't be upset for him not bringing in players that are worth more than 100 million euros.
That's what I said. That was my first point when we started. I said the way in which the market looks makes things very, very difficult from where we stand currently. So that was my point. But unfortunately, the market just looks the way in which it looks. So yeah.
So my top three realistically, which I think are gettable targets, is Eze, 60 million release clause. He's got a 60 million release clause. He can play attacking mid, cover for Odegaard, and he can play left wing. So that's a realistic target. Kudus, I think you could get for 70 million as well. Can play right wing, and he can play attacking mid. And his the last one would be Osimhen. I would say Osimhen as well is realistic because he's now out of favor at Napoli. They don't want him. He's gone to Turkey. Apparently, there's a release clause in his loan contract that if certain clubs come in for him in January, they could get him. His market value is 100 million and his release clause is 130 million. But if clubs come in for him, I agree, at 60 million, I think we could get him. So he's a different profile that we don't have. We don't have a tall, ball-winning, able to hold up play, killer in the box. He's not going to do the link-up play and all the other things that Havertz does. But we've got Havertz for that, so we don't need Osimhen to do what Havertz does. We need Osimhen to do what Osimhen does. I agree he didn't have a good AFCON, but there's all sorts of things that are going on around him with the racism thing at Napoli, him not being respected by the team that he fired to a title win. His goals per... I'm not a huge Osimhen fan, but I think it's just like, of those three that are realistic, he is different to the others. The others are more of like midfielders / wingers. If we want a killer up front, the other one is Gyökeres. Gyökeres is a €100 million release clause. He's already scored 6 goals this year, I think 6 or 8 or something like that. So he's another option, but maybe we'll go for him in January. So Gyökeres is another one that I wouldn't mind.
Again, out of all those,
I think
players,
Kudus, bro.
do we win the league with any of them?
Yes.
I don't know.
We've got a stronger squad. It's not about
Yes,
some
bro.
player. We're thinking like Haaland. City used to win the league without Haaland. We think Haaland has been the difference for City, but they used to win the league with a strong squad. They didn't have like this, like other than De Bruyne, and we've got our own De Bruyne, we've got Odegaard. We've got our stars. We just need a few more floor raisers and one like slight ceiling raiser. We don't need this like person who's going to explode, cost 100 million. We can't always think 100 million. We got to think like, who can we get for 60 million? Who can we get for 70 million?
Guys, can I ask you a question?
Just a question for you, Dave.
I think a player that
how
we
much-
buy
how much-
needs to be a starter, not a backup to someone. But anyway, sorry, yeah, you could go.
No, go for it, son. Go for it.
No, that's what I was saying. I was saying that for me, you know, the likes of Kudus, who would Kudus start ahead of? He would start ahead of Martinelli, or is he a backup player?
Oh,
For me,
Kudus is a
that's not
starter,
good
bro.
enough. Huh?
Kudus is a
He
starter.
wouldn't start.
He's a starter.
But if Odegaard
No, guys.
Guys,
No.
Kudus, guys.
No,
Guys,
Mohamed Kudus
Mohamed Kudus
No,
on the
guys.
left wing.
starts ahead of
Guys.
Martinelli and Trossard.
Oh, what?
No,
Guys,
guys.
go
Sterling
watch
wanted to
Kudus,
start
guys.
in
Kudus'
the team.
ability to affect the game. Look at the goal that West Ham scored against City. You just see what I mean. The effect that he has on the game. In my opinion, he's got a bigger effect on the game than even Saka. It's just that again, he's not on the
I want
level of playing West Ham.
someone where it's not going to be a debate whether he starts or not. I want someone who walks straight into that team and starts.
So who
I
can you
don't
get for
want that.
60 million that's like that?
You see, that's the difficult conversation because the market looks the way in which it looks. But maybe Osimhen, I'm thinking, but I don't think he even shifts the dial. But he would be the only one out of the three that you mentioned. I think Aston would probably be the only one that.
And
could
Gyökeres?
probably
What do you
work.
think about Gyökeres? Because he has a €100 million release clause.
I don't think Gyökeres starts in our team. I don't think so. I don't think Gyökeres starts.
I think that's the question that I wanted to ask.
What in the Swedish league?
I just wanted-
Which league
Rams?
is
Let's
that?
just listen to Rams.
I
Yeah.
wanted
Let's just listen to
I wanted
Rams. Yeah.
touch on this point about Gyökeres and like how much do you actually know about this guy? I
Exactly.
know that he's been
He scores
thrown
goals.
around. No, but like Chief, you can score goals in different leagues. When you come to the
PSL.
Premier League, it's a whole different ball game, bro.
They say that
We've
about
seen
Haaland.
that- We've seen
They
we've
say
seen
that about
that
Haaland.
countless-
No, he wasn't the Bundesliga. He wasn't the Bundesliga. That's not a.
We've seen that
that's not a-
countless times that guys come into the league and they can't perform at the level that they
Rasmus Højlund is a good example.
And I'm not sure if I'm comfortable spending.
He was never-
close to 100 million for a guy
Can I make a
for a
point?
guy that you don't know. How much
Yeah,
do you
I'll
know?
keep
I
it
don't
now.
know. I don't know much about.
Wanted Ivan Toney, who again had one good season in the Premier League and is a championship player. Gyökeres ball out in the championship, ball out in Portugal last season, scored yesterday or the day before for Sweden, and he's I think on 7 goals this season. Again, guys, it's a transfer. There's no guarantee that look at Mbappe. Mbappe's had a slow start to his career in Madrid. A player that has literally
No,
won
but
a World Cup and
With guys like that, you know he's gonna come right. You know he's gonna definitely come right
So,
over time.
But
It's-
I mean,
it's
Gyökeres, what
almost
is
guaranteed.
Gyökeres proving? It's not like he's went since he left Coventry. Since he's been at Coventry and went to Sporting, the guy hasn't stopped scoring. It's 2.5. It's two and a start season of goal scoring, guys. 25 years old, and again, I think The problem is that I think in my opinion, the way we win the league is by platforming some of the players we already have. If Saka, if Martinelli, for example, if Jesus, if those guys can get the numbers they got from 22, 23, plus Havertz, plus Trossard, plus Sterling, if those guys each can get 10 goals, I mean, that's how you win the league as well. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for a Gyökeres or Osman to come and score 30 goals, I would much rather prefer if all my forwards hit 10 plus goals.
Yeah, which is pretty much what
around the league title.
At the start of the
got
video,
6 forwards,
yeah, at the start of the video, I pretty much said the same thing. I think we've got a good thing going. We've got a spread of goals across the team and guys that are working in unison going forward. Now, the one thing I'm not comfortable with is guys like Osimhen coming into this team. I hear you. I hear your whole chat about getting a different option, getting someone who's a different profile. But I don't know if he's that guy. The reason I was asking Dane about Gyökeres is because I personally don't know too much about him. But I know he's been flouted about with the transfer news and stuff. We're probably talking about getting him and stuff like that, but nothing materialized. So the question I'm asking was more around, is he perhaps a better profile than Osimhen? And is he the guy that's going to come in? But no one should be walking into this team. Whoever we sign does not just come into this team and start. Unless you're buying a 150 million rand player, 50 million.
Unless it's Rice.
There's no way a guy walks into this team like off the course.
I think maybe it depends the position as well, because guys, I think we're very light in that creative midfield position. That's where I would have actually liked us to strengthen more. Not the forward line per se. Like we only have Odegaard, who's like an out and out creative player, and he's more.
We've lost Smith Rowe now.
Playmaker.
We lost Smith.
We've lost Smith Rowe, who would have replaced Odegaard, and
would he really though? You know, if you look at just Arteta playing him, you know, I think. Can I tell you another thing, guys? I generally think Paqueta would have been on the move if this whole case wasn't over his head. That would have been the ideal midfielder, even over Marino, because you would have a midfield with Rice as the 6, and you have Odegaard and Paqueta as like your number 8. I think that gives you a lot more creativity and even engine work and steal. And Paqueta is very much he's a 10, but he also gives you a bit of steal. Same as Odegaard. I think Odegaard also has a bit of steal to him, not to the level of a Rice or whatever. But my biggest concern in this Arsenal team is if you lose Odegaard, then who? You know, you lose Jesus and then Havertz. You lose Saka. And
Odegaard is our most irreplaceable player. That's
where I'll knock it through the window. That's the only thing I'll say is that Arteta strengthened the entire back line and that he's got 2 forwards per position in the front line. He just doesn't have it in that creative midfield. We've got Rice, Partey, and Jorginho, and Marino, what's similar profiles. Then you only have Odegaard and one year. Look, guys, I'm all for giving the youngster a go. I'm also okay with that. Maybe he can step up. Why can't we play a 17-year-old like Barca plays Lamine Yamal? Why can't we just have to play?
He hasn't showed the willingness to do that in the past. So it would be Arteta needing to kind of step out of his comfort zone to let Nwaneri shine. But it's like we haven't won the league yet. So, and if you looked at the minutes that teenagers got, we were the second lowest in the league last year. That teenagers got in the league. Man United had the most. So it doesn't mean you're going to be successful if you play more teenagers.
True, but we also have quite a young squad, guys. Let's be honest. Like how many young wingers can we bring in when Saka is only 23? I think we forget that the trajectory of our team under Arteta is actually amazing. To have so many young players on the level that they are makes it difficult to bring in other youngsters. You mean you had to let go of what's the kid's name? Real Walters last year.
Real Walters, Kozia Dubry also left.
Does he get in for Saliba? No, because it's just the age gap is not that big. You know, Martinelli and Saka 23. Nico Williams comes in and there's a bit of friction there. That's why I think the Trossard and Sterling signings make so much sense, because then you can platform your youngsters but also have that experience. You know, you look at Jesus 27, Havertz only 24, which is crazy to think. Havertz is still a young player per se. You know, But I think when it comes to I think what Arteta will do, hence why he had to let go of Smith Rowe, Vieira, and let's say Nelson. I think he might platform one or two youngsters this season and say, listen, you know what? Maybe the unknown is from extracted from a young kid. Maybe it's not on the market. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not the coach.
Hello? Is everyone there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
He just dropped off. I think he just dropped off. He's back now.
But guys, given our current, just an interesting question. I'm just gonna put it on the floor.
Yeah, everyone just dropped off.
Are we still here,
Currently,
bro?
where
I see
we are
everyone.
now, do you guys reckon we win the league this year?
I think we win a trophy.
No tough questions, yeah.
The league, guys.
But
The
the
league is
Carabao.
gonna take.
Why-
It's gonna be interesting.
Can I
The
come
Champions
in
League
here?
is different.
Why are we questioning our ability to win the league? Why is that something?
Remember, it's just
Why is
based
it
off the window.
This is
Why is it-
The window.
No,
It's based
guys,
off the window. that
look
we
at
had.
the stats, guys. The stats are there. We've got a history of continuous improvement, right? We've
Fair enough.
seen that since Arteta started with Arsenal. I think his first season was at 61 points, and then he went up to something like 69 or something to that effect, and then we went up to that amazing season
84. 84.
84, and then we got up to 89. Who's to say that we can't breach the 90 mark this season? Who's to say we can't do that? Why
No,
are you
that
guys
question
why are you
comes
guys
off of the
skeptical about facts? These are facts. These are facts. We should be breaching the 90 mark this season. And there's no evidence to suggest that we won't.
But the question
There's
was, will we win the
absolutely
league?
Yeah, that's just my question. I'm just opening
Yeah,
up.
so it's not. I think 90 points is going to be good. We're going to get 90 plus points, but City might get 90 plus points, and it's still more than ours. So it's not. I think again,
Bro,
what
but
important,
guys,
guys,
you
we
guys
have to
give
be City. We have to be
we give
City
them a
on
lot
the-
of credit. We
Hey,
give
bro,
them,
4 in a row. You just
we
said
give
fact.
them,
You just
we
said
give them a lot of credit.
fact.
Yeah.
That.
And I think-
4 in a row.
and I
Bro. It's
think-
not like
And
we
I
haven't
think,
tried.
we fucked up though last season. We should have gone, especially in that game we played against City. We need to be more confident in our ability to beat these guys. We've got the team to do it. We have to go in there and fight to win and not play for a draw.
So,
And I think that's what we did
Rams?
last season. Yeah.
Rams, that's a nice segue to looking forward to our next few fixtures because we need to kind of keep track on the program. We've got the North London derby next, and then we've got Atalanta and then City. So how are you guys feeling about the next 3 games?
Well, I think we'll slap up City. We'll slap up Spurs, definitely. Even without Rice, we are a much better team than they are. Those guys are in a mess. And if they come to us with that high line, they're in big trouble. And for that game, contrary to what I said earlier, I will start Martinelli because we need that pace.
I agree.
Because I
I
trust
agree.
that Ange is going to come through with that high line of his, and we're going to make it work for us like we did the last time. We actually sat back and hit them on the counter. And if they're going to come with that strategy, we're fucking them up. Clean. So,
What's your predictions for the North London derby, guys?
I'll say 2-0 from my side. Yeah, 2-0.
2-0. Okay, I go 2-1 to us. 2-1 to us.
2-1 to the Arsenal.
Kish?
Hey, me, I'm not a prediction guy, dude. Yeah, I just
Oh,
go
okay.
in there. Because I never get them right. And I'm always going to vote for Arsenal to win, like 5-0, especially Tottenham. Must go there and hammer them, because, the one thing I would say, talking on Tottenham and just speaking, I'm sorry, Shannon, just give me 1 sec here. Do you think we should have bought the striker that I forget his name, from Bournemouth?
Bianca.
Yeah, would he have been an addition that some of you would have considered? Because I was really
Yeah,
impressed by him at Bournemouth.
then he gets injured,
Maybe
bro.
not at
Like,
a
you know what I'm
level
saying?
where- But he had a something. Maybe it's good for Tottenham, but I just think was a Premier League experience. But yeah, just a
It
consideration.
was an
But
option. He was like number 7 on my list of forwards that I would have got, but not in the top 3.
See, the way I look at it, that can Arteta make him better? That's the way I look at it as well. Because Arteta has increased a lot of players' abilities, you know. Saka is looking like different gravy. You know, Odegaard's looking like came out of like Hogwarts with this like magician. You know, it's like Trossard also, he's a killer. Trossard, the one thing I would say about Trossard, Martinelli is Martinelli and we love him. He's just a rampage on the left, but Trossard's a killer. He might not shine the whole game, but one shot, one goal. And I think that's the kind of difference he makes, which is a bit annoying because you want him to have these killer passes, killer crosses. But that goal against Villa, Villa? That was out of nowhere. He caught a trailing ball, just hit it first time. You know, that's I don't think you can teach that to people. You know, this guy, I don't know what he was eating, what he was doing in life, but he's a killer. Yeah, Solanke, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. But Tottenham, for me, we have to, I want to just get for me, I just want a clean sheet there. It'll be nice to go to Tottenham away, get a clean sheet, especially at their stadium, you know, and it's always a nice game. The one thing I would say is, in SA, we love this game as well. It's not only big in England. Like SA, like it actually all the places pump for this game. So it's quite an exciting game. But yeah, no prediction.
We'll get to the venues that we're going to watch the game at later on in the show, but that's something we're very excited about talking about. So, Golden Gunnar, your predictions for spots?
Listen, I need to see if Odegaard comes. I just need to see that. It's difficult for me to give it now because they're still internationals. So I'm gonna base it off the available players that we know. I'm expecting Ange not to change anything, but then it's always that catch-22. When you think they're not gonna change anything from last season, he then plays a low block, for example. He just changes it for this game. So if we get the Spurs that we played against last season, I'm gonna say 3-1 Arsenal. But I'm expecting it to be a bit more crazy. So, like I said, my 3-1 is based off like just literally our past results against them. It's not really based off, much else.
Okay. And then the whole midfield kind of conundrum, who would your midfield 3 be for the Spurs game? Because there's a lot of differing opinions on that. Yes?
I'll probably, guys. This might be the one of the few, maybe one of the many. I might put Zinchenko in midfield. I might put Zini there for his technical. He's just assured technically. He on the ball. People say that no, he can't. He loses the ball a lot. But again, if he has a Tumbo or Calafiori behind him, it gives him the license to be creative. And when we saw Zinchenko at his best in his first season. His first season with us, he was super creative, guys. Let's not lie. Like, he was one of the standout players until maybe the Liverpool game at Anfield when we all started like, no, he can't defend. But in terms of a forward output, I think it gives us similar to what Rice could. Maybe not from the engine, but just from a surety on the ball. Just having, and then obviously
progressive passes.
Yes, and I would probably still go Partey, and I'll obviously go Odegaard. Maybe even Havertz if he's not Zinchenko. Just to maybe put Trossard in and then have Martinelli on the flank. That's just the other way I would go.
Yeah.
But I don't trust the Jorginho party midfield against Sarr and Basuma. It's just there's just too many legs, too much legs.
No. I'm not for Jorginho. I actually want Havertz to come drop into midfield. Trossard as centre forward and Martinelli left wing.
That's
so
exactly
I'm happy with that because also Trossard and Havertz can switch positions, so they can pull defenders.
Yes.
Trossard can pull a defender as he drops into midfield, and Havertz can take that space. So I like that option. At first, I was like thinking safe, and I went Jorginho Partey, but then I realized the pace of Spurs will also just expose us. But 100%. Now I'm actually more into the Havertz.
Yeah.
Is available?
That's exactly what the is going to do.
Sorry, Kish?
Sorry, guys.
No, sorry. I was just checking. Is Jesus available for Tottenham?
Might be.
I don't know. I think it's still a doubt.
So apparently, I read an article today that he might be back in training by maybe Tuesday. So it doesn't mean he starts, but just to have him as an option, like Sterling Jesus on the bench.
Off the bench.
That's a good,
Like off the bench, yeah.
That's great in the second half, especially with Spurs' high line. Sterling can expose it in the second half, either flank. Jesus' trickery. And another thing, guys, if Havertz can have a similar game to the game that he had against Villa when we were at home, even though we lost. If you guys remember those runs he was making from midfield, and he just missed a lot of chances against Villa. If he can have a similar game against Spurs, I trust him to score.
And I think he's a lot more assured than he was when he first started. Because if you remember, well, when Havertz came into the team, he pretty much played in that Xhaka position. And I think now he's kind of come into the flow of the thing, and he's a lot more assured. But for me, the midfield will be slightly different. I would go with Odegaard, Timber, and Partey. I'm not sure. Have you guys said that? Option. Yeah, have you said that Calafiori is injured? Is he injured?
Yeah, Calafiori got injured against France.
Yeah.
France, but he's going back for assessment.
I think Odegaard might have a knock as well, eh?
Yeah.
Who?
So ideally
Odegaard
might have a knock.
Yeah.
So ideally, if the guy is fit, if Calafiori is fit, he'll sit there in the left wing. But I guess he's not. But I think that Timber can play in the middle, and he'll provide that pace that we need on the break. And we've got Odegaard up there as usual, and then Partey will do his usual thing. So for me, that would be my ideal kind of midfield trio.
Marino's injury is actually such a mess up. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
up.
Like, yeah, bro. Like, you know, it's like you know when you just think of the most Arsenal shit that could happen, it was that.
Yeah.
And even Calafiori.
But that's why I'm saying we need to bring in like a Rabiot or someone like that to give us extra options in midfield.
Yeah, I would too. I'm not Rabiot's biggest fan, but just as like is a decent level of midfielder. Like Rabiot can play against your Wolves, your Fulham. No disrespect to them, but you would expect him to be able to do a job in those kind of games. Even if it's a keep kind of deal.
He's another floor raiser. He's another floor raiser.
Yeah, 100%. We're signing you on a 1-year deal with the option to extend maybe for 2 years if we like what you do. Like Kim Kallstrom. Kim Kallstrom came, he is also always injured, but he scored a penalty, he played in the FA Cup final, we won, cool, you know. But I just think, like I said, the midfield is such a weird one because it's like, you've lost two...
You're just breaking up there, bro.
Sorry guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Cool. I was saying that Marino and Rice are like the same profile. I would have been okay with a Jorginho and Rice like being out of the game. Because then you have like, you can still balance your midfield out. But now you've got Partey and Jorginho as your possible pivots. It's like, I think then we're going to have to see these two players show the experience that they have. They're going to have to manage the game on a Kroos and Modric kind of level. So if I'm making any sense in terms of, you don't have the pace, but you have to have the technical assurity to keep the ball and not lose it. And count on your rest of the team to bail you out in defensive situations, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, but Jorginho's got that, bro. I don't know why you guys are. You guys are. I think there's a certain level of disrespect towards Jorginho.
Remember last season?
He's got that in his locker.
At Emirates. Remember?
Yeah, he saved us. He saved us.
Jorginho
played well last year.
Yeah,
true, but you guys remember the reverse fixture at the Emirates when he lost the ball and then Son
you
scored.
can't talk in one game.
Yes, I remember that.
So I'm not judging him off that whole thing. I'm just saying that I'm just a bit nervous for the legs that Spurs have. That's the only thing. I trust Jorginho very much. I would actually play Jorginho over Partey in the purple. But I know Arteta's not going to drop Partey because he's actually fit to play. But Jorginho, I would actually start in midfield. It's just the thing that I'm just scared that Spurs' running power overpower him because there's also no Rice or Marino next to him. You're gonna have a Zinchenko or a Havertz. I mean, Havertz has got a good tank on him, but he's not a defensive midfielder to clean up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Since when did you start thinking Partey is not a quality defensive midfielder?
The legs, though. The
I
guy.
can't imagine the disrespect that you're showing towards Party, bro. That's
It's
crazy.
not disrespect, bro. It's just I'm
That's
seeing the legs.
insane.
The legs aren't there anymore. Let's be honest.
No, Party is close.
Guys, come on, bro.
Sisanda, what are you saying about Party? I can't hear you.
He is class.
He is?
Say what?
Class.
No, he
Class,
is, bro.
okay.
I don't dispute it, guys. I'm just saying from a physical standpoint. Just imagine this, right? Spurs will have Basuma and Sarr in their midfield, and as I'm saying, I'm counting on Partey and Jorginho to use their class and experience in this game if they are given the opportunity. I don't want to see them look out of place. If you can't beat these guys for pace, use your brain. Play football here. You know, play with your
exactly
head.
who they are. That's exactly.
But
who
what
those
I'm saying
players
is
are.
True. But what I'm saying is they're gonna have to be
Jorginho
skiller.
uses his brain more than his physicality in every game. That's who he's been. Partey has both. So I'm not understanding where you're coming with this, bro.
But his
No,
physicality is starting to let him down. And Partey is making mistakes. I don't know if you saw that.
I
He
agree
tried to
with
do that little chip pass.
100% agree with that. He's not at his best. I said it at the beginning of this stream. I said it. He's not at the best of his abilities, right? But I'm not ready to say that Partey has lost a bit of pace or whatever. I believe it's a confidence thing. I think he'll get more games. He'll come into his thing and he will be the guy that we saw in 22-23. And that's the guy we need right now. Because
I'm hoping you're right, Rams. Like I'm hoping you're right.
Like
Bro.
that's the guy we need, bro. That's the guy
100%, bro. Because I mean, a third party is a better Arsenal. That's not
I can't
Party's on
understand
song.
that you would say this after 3 games. He didn't have the greatest game. I would agree with you. It's not the level of Party that we know, right? But I think he'll get better. He'll get better, and he will show everybody what he's made of.
Funny enough, I give you in my top 3 for Brighton. I think he had a really good game against Brighton. After
He had a great game. He had a great game.
You know, he had. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again, it's not, guys. Maybe it's also me as thinking about long running. Is that I just don't want us to lose this game because I've asked. I would rather Spurs be super brilliant on the day. So making it, I don't want to lose because it's like, oh, look at Partey, maybe not, or the pivot isn't working because the legs aren't there. I just want it to be, again, look, if we win, it platforms us for the City and Atalanta games, which are 2 really tough games. But if you lose that Spurs game, it's like, oh, what are the discussions going to be around the team? You know what I'm saying? You know how it gets as Arsenal fans, guys. You have to be honest. You lose the Spurs game, you draw against Atalanta, and you have to go to the Etihad. You just know what it's going to be like. You win the North London derby, you win in Atalanta, come on, guys, you can definitely guys beating City there. Confidence in the fan base, I think, and the team will just exude. So the Spurs game, very not season defining, but it's a very big moment in the season. Hence why I think we just need to get our lineup and our tactics on point.
Yeah, so at the very
I
least,
agree. Guys, I think we need to move on though. We have gone way over time and like there's still things we need to like talk about. Let's look at the UCL draw. So we briefly mentioned Atalanta. Can we bring up the... So basically we've got the first 2 games we need to think about is Atalanta and PSG. So we've got Atalanta away. So we've got 3 away games in a row. So 2 in the league and then Atalanta away. Then we've got PSG at home after, I think, or just before the Leicester game. So let's just look at those first 2 fixtures because those are big fixtures, an away trip to the Europa League champions, and then PSG have got a pedigree in Europe that we don't have recent times. So how are you guys feeling about those 2 UCL games?
I think if we're serious about our campaign, we should be looking at these games as wins. That's my take on it. We should be.
Do you think?
Atlanta, and we
do you think we should focus more on the UCL or on the league this year? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Everything.
Game by game.
Game by game.
Just try win. Just try win. Like, you know what? If, for example, gents, if we end up second with 2, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, it's not a bad season at all. Semi-final of the Champions League. So it's just about wanting to win. I don't want to say prioritize. Just win, aim to win. if you aim to win, you're gonna end up somewhere. You know, if you say, oh no, I'm gonna prioritize this, you know, you might prioritize the Champions League and then, you know, stupid mistake and then you knocked out and now you let go of the league and now we're talking about Arteta in or out. Just try it in.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And
Okay.
if I can just say,
Fair enough.
when we get to the latter stages of the Champions League, for example, then you can say, okay, guys, let's aim for quarterfinals or semifinals, final, and you take it hurdle by hurdle. Same with the league. Where are we by? If we 10, 15 points behind by January, fuck the league. Sorry for my language. It's just like it's done, in my opinion. So then you move on. So it's just about reaching certain set points in the season and then seeing where we are and then where we can go.
And just to go on the league versus UCL, taking things as we go, our first 10 fixtures are some of the hardest fixtures in the league. So we mustn't be surprised if we're still sitting third or fourth by November and things aren't looking good in the league. We mustn't panic. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that
100%.
the easier fixtures will come as we go. We need to take things in context, because in the middle of the year and towards the end of the year, we got better fixtures.
Facts.
Okay, so, but going back to UCL, is there any team we feel scared of in our draws? Do we feel confident?
PSG, Luis Enrique. Again, I think Arteta, if you look at it last season, the Champions League experience of the managers he faced showed sometimes. Against Bayern Munich, he was outclassed. He couldn't come up with another plan. So Luis Enrique, past winner, I think PSG are much more of a team. That's what makes me scared. I just don't. They've got many threats now. I'm not just thinking Mbappe. There's Bacola, there's Dembele. You know, you've got the good strong midfield with Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz. They've got a good squad, and like obviously, guys, they are one of the favorites. You know, we can say that we've gotten better, and we're probably on the same level, in my opinion. I don't think they've got many players or any players, in my opinion, that I would rate higher than ours. Not saying that ours are better. I just think they were quite even. So I think going to Paris will be tough. I would have preferred to really.
No, we got them at home.
We got
PSG at home.
Yes. So
We got PSG
I
at
would
home.
I would have preferred to have them after Spurs at home for just so that we can get back to the Emirates and have before the City game. Because now it's like you go to Spurs, you go to Atalanta, which is I'm actually nervous. That's the most nervous I am for any game is that game, because you just know what the atmosphere is going to be like. You just know it's going to be raucous. They won the Europa League. They're going to want to make a statement. I'll take a 1-0. I would take a 1-0 in all three games.
I'll take a 1-0
Spurs,
easy for Atalanta.
And a 1-0 against City. I'll take 3 1-0s in a row, guys. I don't care. I'm shameless.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And then Inter away is going to be a big game. Are you guys not feeling it? Are you not worried about Inter? They won the league and they were Champions League finalists the year before.
It would be disrespectful to say you're not worried. Do I think we're going to lose? No. But am I concerned about their quality? I think they've got a very good coach, very underrated in Simone Inzaghi. They've got good forwards, got a good midfield, strong defense. I mean, they champions of Italy, guys. It's not disrespectful to be like, oh no, we're better than them or whatever. Who, they'll give us a tough challenge at the San Siro. That's the sort of thing. It's about. I think Arsenal just need to be smart about some of the games we play. I mean, you don't have to win every game. If you go and you draw at PSG, you draw at Inter, and you get a 3 points at Atalanta, that's decent away. I mean, you can get 2 away wins and 2 draws, and you win your home games. That's 8 wins and 2 draws? Or am I math off? But you guys know what I'm saying. I think it's 6 wins and 2 draws. 6 wins and 2 draws.
We're trying to come in the top 16 so we can get to the last 16 and not have to play 2 extra games.
100%.
We can come in the
I think it's top 8, bro.
Suppose it's the top 8 that go automatically through. Yeah, yes. Top 8.
So, I mean, that's it. Even if you finish 8th, so what? It means nothing. It means nothing. So, like, it's just about, it's like, guys, again, by January, be in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, be in the knockout stages of the Champions League, and be with, like, at least a minimum of 3 points behind City. Just be in touching distance of everything. And then you move. Then you can see what you can do in January. Maybe bring in an Aston and the club elevates with that signing, for example, and that takes us over the line. But just being at the fighting chance. That's all I can say.
Just going back to that conversation about prioritization, I think we have to prioritize. it would be naive for us to think that we can play our best 11 for all these games. There are way too many games going on. We need to make sure that we actually identify a specific target that we actually want to reach. Because if we're going to go in gun-ho for all these competitions, we might not end up getting any. So for me, my priority is always the league. I think we need to get into the league, especially at this stage of the competition. For us to, if I understand the format correctly, we don't need much to actually get through to the next stage of the competition. So I'm comfortable for us to prioritize the league and kind of play a semi-second string team in these some of the Champions League games. Obviously, you're not going to do that against PSG, but some of those games we can potentially kind of play a second string team or a combination of both. But I think for me, the priority is the league. I'm not too concerned about qualifying for this, and we definitely would, given the level of competition and the format of the UCL. Unless I'm not understanding it correctly, but I do believe we'll get.
No. I think you've understood me correctly, and I like what you're saying. I think that's wise. We also have momentum in the league. We don't have much momentum in the UCL, and it's obviously a new competition. I personally would like us to win the UCL more than the league. I'm more like, I think it's more of an emotional thing than it looks more logical that we'll win the league before we win the UCL. But I think it's also like what Klopp did when he won the UCL and then won the league afterwards. I'm thinking that might be a pathway for us, but it's much more an emotional decision that I'm making.
No, it's very fair. And given that we haven't won it, it's one of those accolades that we probably want to get to. But I think looking at what we experienced last season and the conversations that we've had today about players with mettle, players with experience, I think we might still fall short for this competition. We got pretty much handled by Leverkusen. I think we just kind of scraped through, and then everybody else. Bayern actually. Bayern took us out completely, and
even Porto did us tactically. If you think about it,
I don't think that's due to quality. It's experience. We don't have those like cold-hearted midfielders, like a guy like Kimmich. We need guys like that. We don't have that. We don't have guys like that. So I'm not expecting these guys to go and win us a Champions League this season. I think a more realistic target would be the Premier League, given that we've got, again, the statistics to back it. We are pretty much 2 points away from winning we were 2 points away from winning the Premier League. And I believe that given the track record of Arteta's influence on this team, there's always improvement. And I believe that we will try and fight harder and get more points this season, even if it's not 90 or 92 or 93. We might be up there with it. So I think that's our best chance to getting actual silverware. And then from there, we can then start looking at going for stuff like going for a Champions League or something to that effect. But I think we're a little bit too immature for it.
No, I hear you, bro. I agree. Okay, I think let's continue. Let's go on to the next part of the schedule. Keish? So let's do some predictions, which is going to be interesting. It's kind of linked to where we think we're going to go. I know there's a lot that can happen, but it's just a fun thing that we can basically go back and look at and laugh at how wrong we were. So it's not it's not to say, oh, we were amazing and we got things right. It's often this funny thing. I mean, who would have predicted that Newcastle come fourth 2 seasons ago? That Aston Villa came fourth last season. So it's something that we can laugh about and we can banter each other internally and just say, oh, you said that United were going to come fourth and they came 8th or whatever, So let's just do something fun. Let's look at our top 4 for the Premier League. Let's look at who's going to win the Carabao Cup. Let's look at who's going to win the FA Cup, and let's look at who's going to win the UCL and where we would place. So if you don't think Arsenal are going to win the UCL, where do you think we're going to come? Semis, quarters, last 16. If you don't think we're going to win the FA Cup, do you think we're going to get to the semis or the final? If you don't think we're going to win the Carabao, where do you think we're going to get knocked out? Just out of interest. So let's do some quick predictions. I'll go first just to set the tone. I think that City will win the league. I think we'll come second. And Liverpool third. And I think that... Yeah, I think it'll probably be the same as last year. I think Aston Villa will come fourth. So that's pretty much my prediction for the top 4. For the League Cup, I have a feeling. I just have this weird gut feeling that Newcastle are going to win their first trophy for a long time. I think they'll win the League Cup. I think we're going to win the FA Cup. I have a feeling we're going to win a trophy this year. And then I think we'll get knocked out, unfortunately, in the quarters of the Champions League. That's just my gut feeling for all of those competitions. I just feel the amount of games, I don't feel we have enough of a squad to cope and go deep in the Champions League. Initially, I thought we'd make semis, but when I looked at how many games there are, like when the games are happening, the fact that we didn't strengthen enough in the forward line, that we let 3 forwards go and only brought in 1 forward, that's my concern. So that's my prediction. I'd love to hear yours.
I'll go next, just maybe keep in order. But Premier League, I think I'm going to chase it out and say after City second, Liverpool Chelsea fourth. I think Chelsea will come good after Maresca, sadly. What's the next one, guys? Is it Champions League, eh?
Champions League, yeah. Oh, and sorry, with Champions League, I think... sorry, I didn't say, but I think Madrid will win the Champions League and will come into quarters. So sorry, say who you think will win it as well.
Champions League, I think to win. I'm gonna go, but out of the box, I'm gonna go PSG. I think they'll be dark horses and they'll win it. And then I think Arsenal quarterfinals as well. I think it takes a while to win Champions League, guys. You really need a couple cracks at it. You know, you look at PSG, how much they spend to try and win it. City, how much they spend. Chelsea, how much they spend. It just takes time. And then FA Cup, I think we will win. I think we can go a League and Cup double, honestly speaking. I think it's very plausible. And then Carabao Cup, listen, I'm going to say final. I think we've got a squad good enough to get to the final as well. I know people talk about depth, but remember, Cup games also need a bit of luck. Sometimes, things just go your way. So the Cups, I'm going to bank on more. I think, and then to win the Carabao Cup, though, I think I'm going to have to go with you as well, bro. I think Newcastle as well. I don't know why I feel that you are onto something there. I think Newcastle, with the squad they have, they also, it'll be shocking though. Not shocking, but maybe a bit, you guys might be a bit scared if Newcastle win a trophy and we don't. That's where I'm not gonna be happy. We need to win something. We have to win something. I'm not gonna allow us not to win anything. In my opinion, we have to show that we're able to win something. Even if you win a Carabao Cup, and it's going to sound contradictory because I was the whole of last season and the season before I said it's a stupid trophy. But the more I look at it, it's like, listen, you just need to win something to be able to start winning more. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to take that first trophy that's going to then light the paper for us to win more. So yeah, those are my predictions.
Sisanda?
Cool. I'll go next. I think City will edge us in the Premier League. We'll come in second. I think Liverpool third. I'll give fourth to either Villa or Chelsea. Champions League, I think Madrid will take it. I think we'll have a good run. We'll maybe bow out in the quarters as well. Then we're looking at FA Cup. I've got a feeling we'll win the domestic double. I think FA Cup, Carabao Cup, we might take those two. So Arsenal for the FA Cup. And I think we'll edge the Carabao as well. Those are my predictions.
Rams?
So I got Arsenal winning the league, followed by City, and Liverpool, and potentially Aston Villa as fourth. I think based on what I've said today, I believe that we're in prime position to actually do this. I've probably been the most. I think a lot of you guys don't know me, but like I've probably been one of the most sought as or seen as pessimistic fans. But I'm looking at the history of what we've gone through, and I think for us, this is our prime opportunity for us to take it. And I think that given City has already won 4 of these in a row, I question the level of motivation for them to get another 5th. And this is something that has never been done. So I think they'll fall off, and kind of we will be primed in our position to actually make it work for us. So hopefully that will happen. So that's why I'm giving Arsenal the title for the Premier League, and I don't think we'll win anything else. Given that our primary focus will be on getting that league title. Champions League I'll probably make it to the semis or the quarters, I think. And then the winner would probably be Real Madrid. FA Cup, thought I'm enough about this to actually make an informed decision, so I'm gonna skip that one. I think we can give the Carabao Cup back to City. I think they just got enough from a squad depth perspective to kind of get a lot of these games over the line and actually win this.
Yeah.
But I question their motivation to win the Premier League again. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it this year again, guys. And we have to make sure that they, because, yes, guys, we can't be having these guys win the league 5 years in a row. It's insane. You know?
Yeah, that would just be like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah.
Do you guys think 115 will come through?
This is the fucking PSL now. You know, like, we don't need this. We don't need
The
this.
115, bro. Can I just, sorry, I know this is completely not on the topic. I just don't think it will, because you can't relegate City because you're going to end up having a similar situation that you have with Serie A now, where it lost its prestige the minute that they let Juventus go to Serie C or whatever it was. I just think you can find them, maybe dock points, but I don't think the 115 will come to the point where they get relegated. City, they've just won 4 titles in a row. What the hell happens then? Your whole league is just not like, it changes everything. You know, so I think they might come an outcome, but I don't think it will be that. I don't think they will
Golden Buddha,
get charged for all those.
I've always maintained that, like, I'd rather win it this way and have the charges come up later, because
Yes,
I don't
bro,
want
I
to,
agree.
you know what I mean? I don't want it to be that.
Yeah, I don't want someone saying, no.
I want to. Yeah, we need to win this thing.
I want to
clean.
win it being the best
With
team, 100%. But I want to
if they are
outplay them.
cheaters. Exactly, and we're pretty much there. We're not too far off.
Yeah,
from
I
these
agree,
guys.
bro. We are on the cusp.
We're right there.
I'll take them being relegated. I don't care. I'll take it hook or crook. Hook or crook, I'll take it.
The desperation. See, Arsenal have starved us, guys. No way. Guys.
We need a clean one, Dane, bro. Like, we need a clean.
We need a Liverpool COVID win. Like, our
Uncontested.
Liverpool won the league.
Yeah, Liverpool
That was
COVID win, yeah.
unquestionable.
We need that, bro.
That was like, guys, you know, Liverpool really cleaned the league that season. I think it was an insane run they went on. Like, they were basically guaranteed the league by around January.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Okay, let's move on. We've gone way over time. Let's do the next thing, which is the venues, I think.
Yeah.
Kish? Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, let me come in. Sorry, you know, I don't like predictions, so, you know, I'll just stay out of that one. But we're winning everything, you know. This is the season. Trust the process. I'll give you all the lines, you know. So, yeah, as I was saying, so for all of you that followed Gunacast, you will know, you know, we were based at Brazenhead, and now we're moving, kind of branched out, because Brazenhead closed down. And then, yeah, we opened up a few more branches. So we have one in Johannesburg North, which is Coppers at the Broadacre Center. We have one in Johannesburg East, which is the one that Dane's running with George. So that's based at Bossa and Bedford View. Then we have one in Soweto. It's based at It's based at Budapest Cocktail Lounge. So that's selected viewing though for big games, and that's also run by Arsenal fans who's part of the club. So that's in Soweto. Then we have one in Pretoria called Encore. That's also run by Arsenal fans. So yeah, we bridged out quite nicely, and one that we're just building up. It's taken a bit of time. Is we're opening up a Randburg one in the West Rand. So that's Phoenix Bar. So yeah, these are kind of the venues we have available. Brazen is unfortunately not available till about Jan. They got renovations going on. So yeah. So that's pretty much our branches that are available. You know, all fans across South Africa. Well, it's predominantly Johannesburg that can just go and enjoy the game. You know, we'll talk next day and we'll talk about watch parties that's going to happen for the next games. But essentially, these are dedicated spaces for Arsenal fans. We have a club membership that I'm not going to talk about now. It's not really the platform, but you do get kind of benefits and perks for being a club member. But the branches, the viewings, it's for everyone. That's an Arsenal fan, not everyone, but at least come and be a fan. It's a dedicated space, so yeah. So that's quite cool. We're really growing. Things are nice. And then also touching on that, Dane, welcome to your first Gunacast here. I hope it went well. It was a bit of a long convo, but yeah. So Dane will pretty much be running things on a podcast level, kind of these kind of chats. And then since Shannon's available, who's Shannon's Golden Guna TV. So, sorry, I know you didn't say your name. So he's also got a YouTube channel. Shannon, maybe you can just shout out your address,
yeah, guys.
Your kind of.
I'm Golden Guna TV on all socials, so it's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X. I don't have a Facebook page, but yeah, I probably will get one up. Haven't uploaded in a while, but I definitely am going to get back into content. I really am enjoying being back in the flow of things. So yeah, that's you guys can catch me at Golden Guna TV, and then yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, no, cool.
Thanks,
Yeah, some cool content there, So, we're just trying to bring out all South African content as well, especially since I have the platform done. It just helps contribute. And then we all love Arsenal. Then the last thing I want to say is all the slides were done by Arthur. He did comment, Arthur Lombarda. So, yeah, really cool slides, really cool content that he put together for us. So,
Thanks,
shout out to
Arthur.
Arthur. Nice work there, appreciate it. So yeah, for me that's it. I think Jane, you can close off with the venues and stuff like that. But Shannon, Sisanda, Lusadi, everybody that came on Coquette. So looks like Gunacast is back, and thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been really fun. It's been quite a long session, but we wouldn't say it was a good convo. Nice one, Dane.
100%.
So yeah, we're looking forward to more of these, and yeah.
We initially planned to do one at the beginning of the season, one midway through the season, one at the end of the season. If you guys enjoyed it, we can do this once a month. I can't commit to every week, but I can definitely commit to once a month. We do a review of all the games in the month, and we preview the next month's games, and then we kind of repeat that every month. So we can do it on a Sunday evening. I'm very keen to do it once a month if you guys are.
Me too. I'm down. This is dope.
Yeah.
Even Shannon, you also run some stuff, so if you're keen to also run some shows.
Yeah, then obviously whoever wants to just send me, follow me or send me I'll try to get your number, the contact from Keish, and then obviously we'll just liaise, and then I can always just host on my channel too, with whoever wants as well.
And Lepladis, I will try and get something back at Coppers, man. I know match reviews are the thing, dude. It was so fun, so yeah, it's kind of sad, but Dane wants to try it out eventually. But I think there's a lot going on, but hopefully we can bring that back. And yeah, thanks everyone.
I'm keen to do match reviews for the big 6 games, the top 6 games. So I think it just takes extra effort, but the top 6 games are worth it because there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of things going on. So I think if we do the podcasts once a month, we do the top 6 post-match reviews or pre-match reviews and do it on Gunacast. That's a good amount of content that we're putting out there without doing too much and going too hard and then kind of burning out. So I think it's important that we do some things sustainably.
Yeah, sure. No, whatever you guys are keen on, So
thanks for having us on the platform, guys. It's been great. These 2.5 hours felt like an hour. You know,
Yeah.
so
Good, bro.
it was great talking Arsenal. Happy to do it. Dane, please, bro, come through to Coppers. I think we'll be doing it from there. Let's have some post-match interviews. Let's have the chat as often as we can. I know we don't want to kind of overdo it, but yeah, it's been great, guys. Thanks for having me on the platform.
Pleasure, Rams. So these are some photos of the East Rand view venue that we view at Bossa Bedford View. So that was we had quite a few guys for the first two games, and then it dropped off a bit for the Brighton game. And then these are the venues that we're having all around Gauteng. So please come through, guys. It's really, it's been a good start to the season. We just need to build. I think there's going to be a lot of people looking for places to watch the North London Derby and the Man City game. So let's tell people about these venues. So that even if you have a friend who lives in the east or the north or the west, tell them this is what's happening in your neck of the woods, even if you don't live there. So tell friends and put the word out there. This is what's happening.
Sure, bro, for sure.
Yeah, and on the note, if you like to indulge in some tasty liquids, there are some of these places. If you wear Arsenal shirt, they'll give you a bit of a.
Oh,
better
yes,
rate.
yeah.
So,
You get 10% off beers at Bossa if you're wearing an Arsenal shirt. So come through to Bossa if you like beer.
yeah.
They do whiskey as well, and the Henny.
Cool. I think
We're not
let's
Arsenal
end. Do you guys want to? Who wants to end in a song? Do you guys know any Arsenal songs?
Yeah, we know.
We
We
need
know.
to
We know
Hey, we're putting
Arsenal,
those on the spot.
but we're not singing though.
You're not singing. Oh, okay, fine.
Oh man, we also through and through. We'll sing it in the note.
It ain't nothing.
And in that looking to.
Two.
Ale, ale,
Ale, ale,
ale.
You see, you know what the problem is? We're thirsty, you know.
We need hymn sheets. We need hymn sheets, guys.
See, I know you're not sharing there, you know, and now you're doing it by yourself.
See, Sander's on the drink. That's why he can sing. I'm ready to sing, guys. Anytime. If we
Okay, James, since
Okay,
you're the
cheers,
host,
Shannon.
You can kick us off. You know, and then we'll
Okay, I think let's
That was
end
my
it there.
voice. Cheers, Shannon.
Okay, boys. Nah, this was great.
Guys, it's been a long day, Jets. Fuck.
Let's do it quick. What do we think of Tottenham?
Shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
What do we think of shit?
Tottenham.
Goddamn.
There we go.
Don't get battered
guys.
everywhere they go.
Cheers.
Okay. Cheers, gents.
All the best.
Bye.